Welcome to the This Isn't Fun Anymore podcast.
Hey, let's keep this smooth. Let's keep this really smooth, like peanut butter.
Keep it going smooth all night long.
Like butter more than peanut butter. Less peanut, more butter. We're clearly your usual hosts here. Today
This is Phil.
This is Chris. Today on the podcast, we have a couple special guests that are not speaking right now.
Not at all.
The guests today are Eliza Jarvi, also known on the internet as Eliza Tozer, and
Jacob Jarvi.
He doesn't go by Jacob ever.
And Jake Jarvi.
We talk a little bit about some gaming history, and we play a little bit of a party game with several people. I don't want to say it's sexy, but I'll imply it. And then we play the most amazing round of 3-word pitch that you've ever heard, bitch. I hope you enjoy the 23rd episode. 23rd of 50,000 of the This Isn't Fun Anymore podcast. By the way, guys, hey, before I say the rest of the word podcast, why don't you go follow us on Twitter and check us out on Twitch. We've got more Twitch followers right now than we do Twitter followers. But I hope you guys enjoy this very special episode, episode 23 of the This Isn't Fun Anymore podcast. Although,
Pip, pip, cheerio.
this still remains fun.
Crawling on the road and stuff all bloody.
That's awesome.
That whole scene they did.
Of course,
because
that was what Bruce specialized back in the
Yeah.
day. That was his specialty.
That and his chin.
Yeah. You can't get rid of that chin.
No.
Anyways.
Yeah. So do you want to, I'm going to, be your co-host today.
That's exactly
I
what
get
you
to
need
do
to be.
the
Okay.
intro with you
So,
at the end.
Right. All right, so Phil's not here today. So the part of Phil's going to be played by Jake Jarvi.
So
and
introduce
then,
yourself.
And then, here, this is where it gets complicated. So I'm Chris.
Yeah.
And
I'm Phil.
And our guest today is Jake Jarvi, played by Eliza Jarvi.
This is Eliza Jarvi speaking as Jake Jarvi. I mean, Jake Jarvi speaking as Eliza.
So when I say Jake, I'm talking to you.
Sure.
And I say Phil, I'm talking to you.
Okay, gotcha.
And nobody can see who I'm pointing at, which makes it even more confusing.
Yeah.
No, that's too confusing. Let me change it. I'll be Jake. You be Eliza.
Perfect.
And you be me.
Oh, I'm Chris.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to... Okay, perfect.
All right.
We are...
Yeah.
I'm
set.
Eliza.
So as long as we're clear that Phil's not here, that's all that's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I am Jake Jarvi.
Yep.
And I am co-hosting. I'm gonna be an even better Phil than Phil is.
Nice.
As better co-host, than Phil is.
I'm going to be a guest appearance.
Yeah. She's going to be a guest.
Yeah.
And
Guesting as Eliza is Eliza.
Yeah.
Ed Herman.
And introducing Eliza Jarvi.
Yeah, she'll always get the special guest appearance credit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know how to do this without Phil. I'm so alone right now.
No, you're not. You're in a room with 3 people.
Yeah.
Well, he's cloistered on the other
I
side
know.
of the room.
I do feel like I'm kind of hunched down behind the wall
like
now.
we're playing Battleship.
Well,
Yeah.
we wanted the cat in here, too, but you were like, she can't handle the podcast.
No, it's too much for her.
Yeah.
She doesn't like it when we watch sports around her either, because we get too rowdy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so she always, as soon as we turn on sports, she knows and she leaves the room. It's pretty
She'll
funny.
just exit.
Yeah.
That's nice. Well, I mean, do you want to start with the normal set of guest questions? Just to kind
well,
of...
let's before because I guess the one of the questions doesn't really deal with the history. So, Eliza, if you could just walk us through your.
Well, let's actually start
Okay.
with let's do what you normally
If
do
I
with the
may.
guest. If I may.
No, please.
Let's do a little background on Eliza.
Okay.
Eliza Jarvi, known mostly on the internet as Eliza Tozer.
Yeah.
Why did you choose Tozer as your stage name?
Because it was my last name when I started.
So you're not very creative. is what you're saying.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay. So awesome. So you got married to me.
Yes.
And that's why you decided not to change
Before I was married to you, I had a last name already.
Okay.
And so
As
now
is customary.
Yeah.
Sure.
As is customary at the birth of a
Yeah.
person, I was given a last name.
We don't talk about real jobs on this show. We only talk about what people, do aspirationally on the internet.
Right.
Because
that's all that matters.
So
Yeah.
where can people
Yeah.
find you on the internet?
Okay, on the internet, I can be found on the YouTube channel Pineapple Boy Films. I am
Plug that one.
Yeah.
producer and I star in the Platoon of Power Squadron, and I do have a knitting and crochet and fiber-oriented blog, which is If and Any, which is IFANDANY.
she's got a lot of little crafty ears around the world as well.
Yeah.
That follow and participate in her giveaways and things such as that.
It's a great community. It's a great online community.
Yeah. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of crossover. In the
Venn
Venn diagram of your blog and this podcast, I'm sure it's pretty much 90%.
I bet there's several wives and girlfriends who might have interest.
Yeah, maybe they can secretly listen to this to get knowledge about video games to try to relate better to their significant others.
You're right. The crossover just seems huge.
Yeah.
So then when did you... So then you're getting into the history, right?
Yeah.
The personal history of when did you first encounter a video game?
Yeah, set the scene for us. Like, give us a short story about your first video game experience.
She actually has insane recall about her childhood, so I was just wondering if you ever...
Like, if we're going for a video game, it was Caitlin's house. Like, I would go over to Caitlin's house and we would play video games in the basement there.
Everybody, Caitlin is married to the co-host of this show who's not here.
Right,
Phil.
Yes, she has guest appeared upon this podcast
She has, as Philip's wife. I don't think we give her a name. Oh. No, I'm kidding. Caitlin Chester's.
But, not video games. I played solitaire. I mean, I played so much solitaire in my childhood. I have a memory of, riding down on the train, and this businesswoman was, typing on her laptop, and I was like, what's that? Does it have solitaire on there? Can I play?
Yeah.
And,
what's
my
that
mom
fancy
never
solitaire machine
stopped
you have?
me. Which is really weird to me. I usurped that woman's machine for,
really?
40 minutes and played solitaire.
Did you really?
How old were you?
I was 8. Okay. I was working on pure charm and charisma.
You went straight up to the woman on the train and were like, can I play solitaire
I think I slowly sidled myself into that.
Yeah. And you just deleted her presentation and everything.
Yeah. PowerPoint.
Right.
Who needs it?
So solitaire was your gateway drug on the home computer?
Yeah. I used to play with my grandpa too. I don't know how but we played solitaire together. He must have had insane patience with me.
Okay.
Because honestly,
I'm sure
I
as
don't know
a teacher
how
of
that works.
young children, he's used to.
Other grandfather.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever play Minesweeper or anything like
Oh,
that?
loved Minesweeper. I loved Minesweeper, but I could never get very high, in the challenging rate.
Yeah, I played a little bit of Minesweeper, but I never really knew the rules.
Right?
I just
from
start clicking.
But from
They
how
don't
old did you guys?
exist.
How old were you guys when you started playing Minesweeper?
Pretty young.
Yeah.
Like for real though. How old were you? Estimation?
Probably 8 or 9.
8 or 9?
I would say 3 or 4. I don't know. We had computers because my dad worked in computers.
Sure.
So we had computers in the house since I was born.
Yeah.
And
And
that
the
room
first
in there
thing you saw-
used to all just be computers, and we would play computer games, really old computer games from
And
as early as I can remember.
Are we counting computer games as part of
Yeah.
video
Oh,
games
yeah.
history?
Yeah,
Okay, because then
absolutely.
it's at school, at the library, I was playing Oregon Trail. I was playing, I just looked up the name of it and now I can't remember. Something where you have to stop the school from exploding by midnight and solve math problems.
That sounds great.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really fun. And sometimes I'd only have access to educational computers, so it would just be the typing games, but I'd be
Yeah.
yeah.
Ooh, I loved the typing games.
Yeah. Math and typing games. I was all about it if that's what I had.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
And then you're just trying to beat your time on typing the letters as you're learning to type.
Yeah. And now I'm doing that on the treadmill instead of on the typing game.
Sure. I didn't know about Minesweeper until for real, I was 19 years old.
Right.
And I found it on the computer at the video store I was working at.
Because it was always there, you just didn't notice it.
Yeah. No, I just never.
Yeah.
It's not I didn't go to the house computer to look for games that already existed on it.
Yeah.
I never did. I never played Solitaire on there. I never played Minesweeper. But I would go and get I really wanted computer games before we could have a Nintendo in the house, but we had a computer, so I was one of those old Macs,
Yeah.
you could stick in the floppy disk and everything. And I wanted
the hard disk, but they were actually floppy. But yeah.
Carmen Sandiego.
Oh yeah.
I had a summer sports one where you could BMX bike, but I could
Nice.
never do the tricks.
Yeah.
Not even in a video game
Yeah.
could I do the tricks. I'd come in from trying to do tricks on a BMX bike in real life
Yeah.
onto the computer game, be I can do this. I'd get halfway up the half pipe, and I didn't pedal hard enough or whatever,
Yeah.
and I would just roll backwards.
Yeah.
I could never understand how to pedal that fucking bike.
It strikes me now that Minesweeper is the lowest common denominator version of Myst. You pretty much just have to start clicking.
Just start doing
and
stuff?
figure it out.
Will
Yeah.
someone please
Myst is
tell
so
me
high concept,
What
though.
Myst what you're supposed to do in Myst?
I never got.
Okay.
There was one thing I never got past, so I can't tell you.
I played a couple times with a cousin that was like 16 years older, so like we got pretty far, and like we beat one of them once. But basically, it's like there is this whole story wrapped into the island and everything.
Okay.
Like
Jake,
there's
it's a mysterious island.
Yeah.
there's like this dad or something, and
I-
his sons had been lost on the island, and they're not there anymore. But like there's remnants of them being there. There's this weird thing with like there's book pages that are kind of like also teleporters, but also can tell you information, and you have to like set up different. The whole like island is almost like a Rube Goldberg machine, where like you have to set up certain very specific things to sort of
and you have
create
to,
a
like,
chain
go
reaction,
pull
and like things
a
open
lever,
up, and like
then
yeah,
you have to like leave the room that the lever's in to go see what it does somewhere else.
right.
But you don't know.
You
have
don't
no
know where
idea.
that-
You
yeah.
have to go find out.
This sounds like Lost,
Like,
the TV show.
It really was like
Yeah.
it kind of yeah.
Minesweeper equals Myst equals Lost.
And I remember
Perfect.
hours of we got to this combination safe that was behind a picture or something in some guy's office. We didn't know what the combination was. It was probably in the world somewhere.
Yeah.
But instead of doing that, we sat there and we tried 001, 002. And we did that for like a couple days until we found out what it was. And then inside was like a book of matches or something. We're like, okay, great. Yeah, that was
like
a really
you
good game.
stumbled onto the combination that way.
Well, I wouldn't say stumbled on because it took a lot of time. But yeah.
That's how you found out the combination.
Yep, we just sat there and tried and I think it was like 720 something was the right combination.
Good God.
Yeah.
See, like, I remember booting up Myst and hearing about Myst and how amazing Myst's graphics were, you know?
Yeah.
And I wanted to see these mind-blowing graphics. But as soon as the game started, I, like, moved around a little bit and nothing was happening.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't get it. I'm gonna go watch Rad again.
Yeah.
like, it's like, unless something is supposed, like, in side scrollers, it's obvious. Like, you go to the right.
You go to the right.
That's what's gonna happen.
There's enemies, there's things to jump on, there's things to avoid.
Or a door that you go out.
Right.
Eventually, if you keep going right,
Yeah.
you're gonna find something.
I'm
With
having-
Myst.
Yeah, it was 100% exploration. And even if you did all the crazy things and finished it all, it wasn't like you would get like a video of like a guy telling you what was happening.
Oh.
Kind of like that was kind of the ending. So,
What were you gonna say?
interesting.
I just had another memory of an earlier video game experience, which is when I was 5. My mom had either a boyfriend or a friend in New York City, and we went to his
New York
brownstone.
City. Sorry.
This is the only time I've been
Yeah.
to New York City, and he lived in a brownstone, and I played Super Mario Brothers, and I had a loose tooth, and I slept on a cot.
Yep. Okay. Yeah.
So, like,
New York City.
So
New
that-
York City.
was that pretty much, like, as soon as you walked in, did you see the Nintendo and, like, you were good to go and you were like, this is it, I'm just gonna play Super Mario Brothers all weekend?
I've told you everything that I remember about that weekend.
Alright. See, because similar to your wanting to steal a woman's computer on the train, I think that's what she said, right?
That's exactly
yeah,
what
no,
she
that's
You wanted
exactly
to
what
rob
happened.
a woman.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. When I first saw Super Mario Brothers, things are coming back right now.
Right,
It's like, you know, and then
It's like
then
therapy
Super
in
Mario
here.
touched me, and
Yeah.
I didn't, in my heart,
Right.
like forever. But my cousins had it when I went up to Michigan, and they were playing Super Mario, and I was like, this is amazing. This is what is happening. You are holding a thing, and the TV is
Right, yeah.
interacting with you, you know? And
It was
couldn't-
everything you dreamed of.
it was.
Right,
I
yeah.
wanted to control the television forever. And finally, my cousins were doing it, and they didn't really let me play very much, and I was kind of pissed. So, like, but every once in a while, they would let me have, like, a tiny turn, and I'd, like, try to jump on the one mushroom man and die, and they'd be like, our turn, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and then on the way home, we stopped at a gas station, and someone was playing the Nintendo, but the clerk was playing the
That's
Nintendo.
such like a movie
Right?
clerk thing
Like
to
in The
do.
Wizard.
Yeah.
like they were playing Super Mario, like while people were like paying for gas, like between
Yeah.
people and everything, and I was like, do you think anybody else gets a turn?
Yeah. You put your quarter down on the desk. Yeah.
Can I? Are you? And then they didn't. They just ignored me.
Yeah.
Until I got my Nintendo, and then I just went crazy, and I
Yeah.
jumped on that mushroom man. I
Yep.
jumped on him.
Yeah.
You still can't look at mushrooms the same.
No, never.
No.
Never. I still can't get them on a pizza because I think they're gonna, you know.
Right.
I won't
Make you
get my
larger.
turn back.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then the other awesome school computer game, other than Oregon Trail, which of course was amazing, but
Yeah.
pre that, like back when you were doing the typing games, there was this game. I don't know if I mentioned it back when we did the podcast before, but where you had to try and guess spatial percentages. You were a little rocket ship on the left side of the screen, a bunch of spiky landscape, and there was one little place to land always. And you would have to like be like %, and then it would like take off, and you couldn't adjust it after you press your percentage, and you'd either watch it land on the spikes and it explode, or on the little land.
So it was the precursor of Angry Birds.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, kind of, except like you there was only one thing to do, and you couldn't knock anything down.
Right, you kind of had to
But
use
it
math
exploded.
and
Yeah.
estimation
Yeah.
rather than actual like just finger guessing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I loved that. I loved the ratio guessing game.
Yeah.
No. So then, after your Brownstone Mario experience, where did you go from there?
It doesn't have to be chronological. If just whatever
Yeah.
else you can think of. Like growing up, did you ever play? Did you have a?
Did
like
you ever have a system in house?
No, I never had like a home system. I had a little Game Boy Color, I want to say. It was kind of a see-through purple. It was really pretty. I still have it.
That's a Game Boy Color, yeah.
Game Boy Color, yeah.
Yeah.
And I would mostly play Pokemon, the blue cartridge Pokemon,
Yeah.
whatever that was. And other than that, I just played at Caitlin's house. But I was over at Caitlin's house a lot, you guys.
Yeah.
A lot, like 75% of my free time.
Yeah. Did she have anything that you guys played together? Or?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. It was like, it was a dark fighting game, and it had like this pseudo opera soundtrack, and you had to kill like zombie dogs, and the girl had a red dress.
I mean, are you talking about Resident Evil?
It wasn't, but it was like a Resident Evil alike.
Was it a fighting game? Or
It
was it a story
and
game?
I would then, and I still now, every time like a boss or like a rabid dog jumped out, I'd just be like, here, and I'd like hand the controller over, because that's like my least favorite part.
Yeah.
I just want to wander around the world and interact with things and like discover things. That's all I want to do. Solve puzzles. I'll solve puzzles.
Yeah.
I just don't want to like have to shoot anything or have my adrenaline spiked by things jumping at
Yeah.
me. I don't
No
enjoy
adrenaline
that.
spikes
Yeah.
at all. Except she is insatiable for solving a thing. Like, I'll walk away from it,
Yeah.
like, very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
If I can't get something done, I'll be like, no, I can leave this situation. I'm
Similar-
fine,
Right.
not progressing.
To your safe thing, there have been a couple times in Tomb Raider, there's this one wall, and it took me a solid 3 days worth of playing to, like, exactly coordinate Laura Croft's, like, ascension of this wall. And then there was another one where we reached this dead end, and, like, 5 days I was there trying to figure out what had gone wrong. And then
Yeah.
we looked it up on the internet, and it was, like, a fault in the game. Sometimes you get to that point,
Right, yeah.
and the little stick that you jump off of
It's gone.
doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And what do you have to do? Start from the beginning, and then the game
We have not been back
We
to
have
it.
not been back
but
to that game.
that wall that she's talking about, she's not joking. Like, it was an exceptionally hard wall in, I think, Tomb Raider Anniversary. Mm-hmm. Anyway, it was a really tough one, because you have to jump and do your rope, like, fling your rope to hook it on, like Indiana Jones style, and then go up to this next thing where you, like, do a wall jump to a rope hook to a next thing, and then you have to, like, the last jump is, like, you have to hit it just right in order to make it. And I tried it for, like, maybe 15 minutes. And I was like, nope.
Yep, it's broken.
Yeah, and I kind of, like, walked away from it. And you went for it for, like, 2 hours, I would say.
Yeah, before I gave up that day.
Yeah.
Only
And then
to
she
come
went back to
later.
it, and then she got it. And then when she got it, I, like, came back into the room and we kept playing.
Yeah, the lesson we sort of learned from playing a long time is, like, if you're trying to do something, like one specific task, the longer it takes you to do it, the more you should just walk away and come back to do it. Because usually when you come back, then you get, like, the first try. You try to do it, like, 1,000 times, but for whatever reason, I don't know if it's, like, your bad technique or you're just trying too hard.
Yeah.
But if you walk away and then come back, it just solves itself sometimes.
Well, also, the more frustrated you get, like,
Yeah.
the more mistakes you're going to make
Yeah.
in terms of your timing or whatever, just because you're starting to get frustrated. And that applies to life.
certainly
as
does.
well.
Yeah.
That's
Life
through
lessons
gaming.
from Jake Jarvi. He was handing out beauty lessons at the...
At the grocery store on the way
Grocery
here. I will-
You guys want
Wait,
me?
at the
hold on. That needs to be a YouTube channel.
Well, no, like, just a quick aside, it has nothing to do with video games, other than the fact that we were on our way to a video game podcast, so we bought some beer.
Oh, nice.
So, at the register, the guy was like, "Are you guys 21?" And I pulled up my
I'm
license.
surprised he was. He looked really young.
He looked super,
Anyways.
He might have not been.
well, he had gauged ears, and they don't let the kids...
Date.
And
Okay.
he,
Yeah.
checked
They
us
don't
out.
let the kids have gauged ears.
Yeah.
No, but they don't let the kids check out at the register the alcohol. So.
Oh, yeah.
So he must have been, because the managers were like right there.
Oh yeah.
It was sunset. So, like, you know, everybody's at the front there ready to grab you if anything goes wrong.
Yes, more employees than they have like items in the store.
Absolutely. So, and I held up my license and I was like, yeah, I'm over 21 by a lot. By a lot. And he was like, oh, not that much. You know, and he's like, I'm sure the secret is this. And I'm like, and moisturizer. You got to moisturize. Keep the skin soft.
Yeah.
And he looked at me like, huh? So, yeah, that was my beauty tip.
Nice.
It was good. It was a good moment.
So I don't know how to transition back into games. But
You know who has nice skin?
Laura Croft.
Laura Croft, the pointiest skin around.
Yeah.
You know who's really pixely skin? Everybody on Oregon Trail.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Do they even have...
Well,
Do you get to see people in Oregon Trail?
there's two like main versions of Oregon Trail as far as generationally, and I'm sure that you probably played one that looked.
Oh, because I'm
just
so...
saying,
Oh!
one that looked a little bit different than the one that we ended up playing later on, because there was the super basic like black screen green outline of things,
Yeah.
which is kind of how it started. But then later on, it became more of like almost like a picture that they pixelated
I actually
into
played
a thing.
I played the picture version.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. In Mr. Brown's classroom. I
Oh,
played the
Mr.
picture
Brown.
But yeah, but then you also got me into... I had never heard of Civilization prior to you being like, I like this game, Civilization. 3. It was 3, Civ 3. And you're on your way to work, and you were like, here, check this out. And I took it, and I was sitting over by where my parents live, and I was just playing Civilization, and like it sucked me in immediately. And like, you had an 8-hour workday, and you came back, and I was still playing Civilization over and over again. So how did you find out about Civilization?
Oh, the library had it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the library
Yeah.
is like the key to my life. Yeah, no, Civ 2 was on the library computers, and like you had like 2 hours at a time on the
Had you
library
heard about
computers.
it before it, though?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know.
So you just found...
Randy
I mean, but
pointed out.
this was also like 5th grade for me, so yeah, this was still pretty early in my life. And who would have told me about Civ?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like another
Caitlin?
kid or like a librarian.
I didn't
don't
know Caitlin in 5th grade.
Oh.
I met her in 6th grade.
So you brought her to Civ.
She's not as into Civ as me. She's only played the
Ooh.
Xbox version, which
Oh.
is I have heard that the Xbox version of Civ is pretty lame.
Yeah, anytime they port a PC game to a console, it's usually pretty pared down and pretty user friendly. It's like taking a console game and make it on a cell phone. There's only so many inputs controls you can sort of do, so
Yeah.
they get rid of a lot of features.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of that game.
So when you booted it up, like in the library the first time, why Civ? What is it about Civ that you thought was so good?
History?
Yeah, I pretty much have I like any historical or any pseudo-educational
Yeah.
thing. Like, I actually can't tell you how many things and stuff.
Threw our timing off, but yeah.
I can't tell you how many like historical writers and philosophers I know and can quote because of Civilization. Because every time you discover technology, they'll have like a little pithy little saying from somebody or another, and I'll be like, oh yeah, Goethe doesn't feel this way about whatever.
So you accidentally learned something
Yeah.
while playing the game
But
that
you
was
hear
trying to
it
teach
in
you something.
Leonard Nimoy's voice all the time,
Yeah.
don't you?
Yeah, which is great too.
Yeah. Ever play Seaman for the Dreamcast?
Oh
Sorry,
my
that's
God.
a side.
I hated Seaman.
Yeah.
Because
Did we talk about this on your podcast?
I don't know.
I talked about it with Phil, but I don't know if we talked about it together.
Well, we had it at Center Video. And when we got the Dreamcast in, we just put it on the TV screen
Yeah.
up there. And, because, you could leave it on forever, and it was supposed to learn and stuff.
Yeah.
and
The original AI.
Yeah, it was. It was like, AI is now a thing.
Yeah.
In, like, 99.
Yep.
And he didn't learn much.
If you don't play it, he's not really going to learn that much.
Well, we figured environmentally he should be picking
He's
stuff
just
up.
picking stuff off the microphone and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't actually see out of that screen.
He looked freaky.
Yeah, that's
He
for
looked
sure.
really freaky.
Yeah.
And he
Well,
barely
I remember
grew.
him like walking around on the screen. Whoa, memories.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, he would swim as like a tadpole to start
Yeah.
with.
It was sort of a fish to amphibian sort of life cycle. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was a tadpole, then he was a fish, then he was like a bigger fish, and then he grew legs, kind of, right? He was like a fish with legs. I don't know. He had like a human face just plastered on
It was
a fish
wrong.
body
It was wrong.
that
Human
would talk
face,
to you.
Fish body.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you actually engaged with him, which it sounds like you did,
Yeah.
did you guys get married? Is that how it ends?
No, I did. I don't recall. I plead the fifth. No.
No, I'm just like,
Chris
what?
couldn't legally marry him at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was too young.
Yeah.
What does eventually happen with him? Does he get smart? Does he?
He does get smart.
Does
I
he
think
start
he gets.
to teach you? Does he try to overtake you?
I'm just guessing here because I don't entirely remember. Yeah, he takes your identity on your face. His face turns into your face,
Sure.
and he starts calling himself by your name, and then your friends start forgetting who you are.
Sure.
And it's this whole weird thing that happens. Yeah,
And all of a sudden, you hear him like taking calls for you.
right.
And then next,
Like
you see your
I
friends
start
in
getting
the
mail
screen.
for things that I don't know why I have. And he's like, no, that's for me. Yeah,
Yeah. He's like, don't worry about it.
yeah,
When the pizza arrives, you're supposed to set it by the Dreamcast.
yeah. And then it just disappears.
Yep. Right. Soon
No,
your
I think
parents
he
are
becomes
bringing the TV to church.
yeah, he becomes super smart, and I think he like ascends to the heavens. Basically, like he becomes so smart that he's like, I'm gonna leave you now, bye, and like he turns into like light and disappears, sort of thing.
Really?
I think
So
so,
it's
from
her.
what I
It's
remember.
her.
Kind of, yeah.
Spike Jonze turned Seaman into an Academy
movie,
Award-winning screenplay. Original
Yeah,
screenplay.
right, quote unquote original.
Wow.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert for those of you who haven't seen her.
But I think that
Great movie. Still watch
he
it.
can
It's
still
Seaman the
stick
movie.
around. But I remember him leaving. I remember the end of it. He leaves.
But then does he come and visit? Like, has he moved into your Xbox One? Like, has he come
No,
back?
because it
to
was all
visit?
Sega. Yeah.
Yeah.
If Sega still existed, if the Dreamcast 2 came out, he might have just showed up now and then in
Sure.
games, right?
Sure.
Checking
Like,
what I was
I'm
doing.
kind of intrigued by Phil's explanation of Mountain. And I want to know, like, maybe Seaman is on Mountain. Have you checked Phil's Mountain?
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. It's every time he, tweets a picture of it, it seems to be a different mountain almost, right? Because what happened to that
Have you
duck?
heard about this, hon?
Did the duck
No.
fall off? 'Cause there was a giant rubber ducky there.
Explain it. Explain it.
So it's a game. I think it's like 60 cents or something. It's on the computer, and it's just called Mountain. So it randomly generates a mountain for you, and you're supposed to like constantly have it on in the background. It's just supposed to be like a living picture sort of thing. And every once in a while, something will happen to it. Like for them, there was a giant rubber ducky. I don't know where it came from. Then there was like a baseball. Sometimes there's like a rocking chair. Like just it randomly generates things, and sometimes things happen, sometimes they don't. And so it's like every time you look at the mountain, something's going to be sort of different. There's no point to the game. Nothing goes on.
And you can't change anything.
All
on
you
the
can
mountain.
do is like rotate around the mountain. You can't.
You can look at it from different angles.
Yeah.
That's all you can do with the mountain. And things happen to it.
This is very confusing.
And it's what is this thing too? The as soon as you boot up the game, it asks you like, what does God look like, or something
Yeah,
like that.
it asks you like a couple questions,
Like,
which
very
you answer,
existential.
and then it generates your mountain. And you can't change your mountain, and your mountain eventually will. Chris, there's a bathroom right down the hall.
No, sorry.
There, and you can't do anything to your mountain. Sounds like Seaman, doesn't it?
It sounds
With less of a point though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sounds like an existential game, and
That's- well,
I
it's-
kind of hate it on principle.
Yeah. Well, because it's not a game. It's just a thing that happens in the background. Like, if it was like your screensaver or something, it might be interesting. I told Phil he should find a way to put it on like one of those digital picture frames, so it's just like he can look at it and see what's going on the whole time. But
I like that idea a lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you like the Tomb Raider games more recently, right?
Yeah, I really like the Tomb Raider game. We tried the most recent. I wasn't into that one as much. They took away some of the things that I loved about it.
Which was
The puzzles.
the puzzles, right?
And then they made more things jump out at you and more life-threatening
Yeah.
situations.
It's
and I
more
was like,
scripted moments now.
this is not what I come to this game for.
Yeah, there is a little bit of like environment exploring. You have to find your way in and out of places, and occasionally there's a little puzzle.
Yeah.
But it's not like the Tomb Raider that was.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, you guys don't like it as much because they decreased her cup size.
That's the thing.
That's the first thing I that's the
Yeah.
first thing I noticed.
Right.
And then
Give me back her sexist body if I can have my puzzles.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know what cup size has to do with the lack of puzzles.
Right? I don't know why they're related, but for some reason they are.
Yeah. All of a sudden, smaller breasts means more enemies.
Yep.
That's what it meant.
That is what it meant.
Oh, man. They're trying to tell you need larger breasts if you want.
Right. Guys want to attack
what you want.
in that kind of way.
It's a
Yeah.
Darwinian assist.
Yeah.
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 I think we just figured out the whole game theory behind.
Man. This is like Gamergate all over again.
Yeah.
That, and I also didn't like her vocal performance.
Camilla Luddington.
I have no idea, but she was a lot more like shrieky and whiny and angsty.
Well, she was young, Laura, right?
Yeah,
She
that's
wasn't as
fine.
calm under pressure,
Yeah.
was the idea.
yeah,
It was supposed to be her becoming the Tomb Raider Begins.
I get that, but what it meant is we listened to her whine a lot more.
Right.
As
I haven't
players.
played it yet. but
And
yeah.
logistically, that's probably why there is less tomb raiding, is because she was, on
Just
this,
surviving.
on this adventure, and she gets stranded on this island with these awful people.
Yeah.
So, there's not like she's not supposed to be exploring. She's supposed to be getting away.
Right. And once again, I haven't played the game, but it seems weird to me that it's like she takes the experience of being stranded on this island and trying to survive to when she gets off the island, she's like, I'm going to use those set of skills that I learned to go rob tombs. It seems a little bit weird. Especially because she's already super rich.
Well, she changed on that island, Chris.
Well, I heard you were one of the people that said this too. It's like it was this whole lead up to her first kill.
Yeah.
Which is like a big deal. It's
Where
a main thing.
her hand is forced.
And it's
yeah.
like once she crosses over that line, she's like, I'm gonna kill everybody all the time now.
Yeah. She's like, I don't care. And she just starts plowing through
Yeah.
everybody on the island.
Yeah, she
except
does.
for her friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
even though doesn't she have to kill at least one of her friends throughout the course of that?
Maybe. I don't
Spoiler.
remember.
I'm kidding.
I don't remember. It's been a long time, and they got rid of all the red boxes in our neighborhood, so now I can't rent Tomb Raider anymore.
Yeah.
Why is that? Are they going out of business or?
No, they're all the ones are still all the other ones are still around. Just our neighborhood.
That's annoying.
Uh-huh.
First you lose the
The
7-Eleven, and
store.
now
video stores,
Yeah.
7-Eleven gone.
Yeah.
Now the red boxes. I'm pretty sure that they're trying to get rid of us.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
the reason.
specifically, they follow you on Twitter and they know what you guys like.
Yep.
It's weird. I don't think I ever tweeted about the 7-Eleven.
No. No. But we
No.
might have sent pictures out
we
of
mentioned
us.
when we were watching one time when we went to go to 7-Eleven and we got 40s to watch Bad,
Bad
Boys.
Boys.
We did mention that on Twitter. I
That's
remember
true.
that. Yeah.
And that's right before it went out of business.
Yep. See?
Yep. We never
Cause
should
and
have done it.
effect.
Yep.
You guys.
Although-
J'accuse.
I must say, watching Bad Boys with 40s is the way to do it.
Absolutely. So do you guys still rent games from the library?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're actually, we've been renting Harry Potter.
The Lego Harry Potter.
Yeah, I saw you guys were playing that. What do you guys think of that? Is
fun.
that
Yeah.
the first Lego game you guys played together?
Yeah.
Yeah. We played a little bit at Phil's house, just like, play this for a second.
Indiana Jones?
Yeah. But like, we never really got a chance to get into one until this.
Yeah.
What do
Harry
you...
Potter is always a good gateway for anything with me.
Yeah.
You need to gateway me to something. Start with Harry Potter.
What do you make of it in general? I mean, is it puzzly enough for you?
Yeah, it is. You have to go and find little things in order to unlock other things. It's a big puzzle.
Is it Harry Potter-y enough for you?
It's pretty Harry Potter light, but that doesn't bother me because
Yeah.
my brain starts wandering the world of Harry Potter while I'm playing it. So I mean,
Even if you're playing a game about something else,
Yeah.
you think about Harry Potter.
yeah. Actually,
Yeah.
when we first started like jogging, like that was what I would do to like distract myself. So my brain wouldn't be like, "Stop jogging. What are you doing? Stop jogging." It'd be
Yeah.
like, "And Harry in the second book."
Yeah.
I would distract myself by like going down the little rabbit hole of Harry
Yeah.
Potter.
Did that ever turn into fan fiction?
No,
Okay.
no.
That's unfortunate.
I'm sorry.
Did you ever play any of the other Harry Potter games?
Which other Harry Potter games?
Like on any of the systems? Like they each game had a movie. I mean, each movie had a game.
No, I never did.
Never did.
I heard they weren't great, so...
I played for the first movie, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone game for the PlayStation 1.
What? Did it really come out that long ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I played that on our PS2.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. But maybe that's maybe it's just because I hadn't been playing a lot of video games at that point.
Is that the best movie adaptation game that you've played?
I'm trying to think of like how many movie. Well, I mean, can it get better than the Nintendo Back to the Future game?
Okay. I thought you were going to say Gremlins 2 for a second.
No, I never played that game. I never played
really?
Gremlins 2.
Yeah, I still have it in the other room there.
Do you?
Yeah.
Nice.
I
hated the Back to the Future game, just so we're clear.
Because you couldn't beat it, right?
It was impossible.
Yeah.
It was so hard. And then I hated that every time you got knocked down, he like waved his arms and legs like a little baby on the ground. Like, Marty McFly wouldn't do that.
No. Just because he's the size of a baby doesn't mean he acts like a baby.
Yeah, absolutely.
He had surprisingly good control over his limbs at the time. I mean, that's turned into some rough territory, but he really would. The way he moved always really impressed me. Like, he had really good control of everything he would do. You know what I mean? Like, the way he would, like, pick up, a skateboard and, like, kick open the door
at
the same time.
You're talking real.
I'm talking about Michael J.
Fox.
Yeah.
Dude, like, no joke, like, the way that Michael J. Fox played Marty McFly in those movies, like, changed the way I thought about how main characters should move.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that he, like, would always kick the board up into his hand.
Yeah.
And when he was leaving Doc Brown's, you're right, he wouldn't just, like, walk over, open the gate. He'd kick the gate open, like, go through, he'd slam it behind him.
Right. It was like he had done this 100 times before, and he had, like, a routine to it. He was doing 3 or 4 things at once all the time.
Yeah. And, like, when he was jumping off the roof of Biff Tannen's Pleasure Dome, or whatever it was, like, the casino, like, he just slides his foot back and drops. I mean, he's, like, the coolest.
Yeah, everything he did looked super cool.
Absolutely.
Even that stupid way that he wakes up sleeping, when he all of a sudden wakes up with his, like, one arm behind the back and all that stuff.
Suspenders over?
Yeah. And, like, we talked about when we watched the HD, like, remakes that came out a couple years ago. I was like, who even sleeps like that? Honestly, since then, I've started to lay like that. It's super comfortable. It always looked super ridiculous to me for, 25 years. I'd never tried it. I started trying it. It's great, guys. Try it out.
Speaking of weird sleeping positions from media, the girl Dead Like Me,
George
sleeps with, like, her arm hooked underneath her knee.
Yeah. And they make, like, a thing of it the entire series.
And you know what? That's also
really comfortable.
Yeah,
it's not something I naturally would have thought to try.
No, it's probably something that she probably did in real life and just did it.
Yeah.
Because there's no way you can make that up, unless if it was like a running gag or something they had on set. Like,
Somebody comes to set and they're like, guys, my character sleeps like this. I, like, pretzel these legs under.
Yeah.
It's like, no. You're just making fun of the process.
Right.
Now.
I feel like it was like, okay, they did like 20 takes of this, and they're like, whatever you're doing, it doesn't seem natural. Like, so people don't sleep that way. She's like, oh, okay. And so she did something super ridiculous to, like, prove a point.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, that's funny. Let's use that.
Yeah, or, like, she just, like, got into bed, and they're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And she's like,
what?
She's like,
doesn't everybody?
Sleeping, right?
You said you wanted me to fall asleep, right?
Yeah. Which reminds me of video games.
Speaking of fair game.
Have you ever played any dating sims that, like, Caitlin likes to play and stuff?
No. Caitlin's mentioned them a couple times, but I've never actually tried one of them.
I'm curious about them. After hearing Caitlin describe them on the show, I must admit, I was kind of like, I want to play a dating sim.
Right?
I want to choose
but
who
I never
they
got
date.
into, like, Sims. Like, sim games. I never got into The Sims. I tried a couple of times, and, like, it was like The Mist for me. I was like, and now what? So what? So what's happening now?
Right.
What am I supposed to be working towards here?
Yeah. But then, so Civilization, though,
I was going to say, they're kind of similar, yeah. Certainly there's more to do, like, because you're playing on a much grander scale with Civilization.
I guess
But it is kind of just the same thing of, like, micromanaging what people are doing.
That's true.
It's just whether or not you want a face associated with your thing, or if you want a series of cities.
Maybe I just didn't give The Sims a good enough shot. Maybe I should go back and spend.
Well, because you already had Civilization, maybe you didn't need another thing that was the same.
What is the longest?
I did like Sim Tower and Sim City. Too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I still remember the cheat code for Sim City. Porn Tips Gazzardo. You guys.
For money?
I think it was, you got $50,000 with that or something, or $5,000.
So, what is the longest Civilization game you've ever played? Do you know?
No idea. I don't care about finishing that game. I just want to keep starting them, and then I explore the world. And then I usually have at least one war, and then, like, once the Middle Ages start, I'm like, time to start another world.
Yeah.
So you're not interested in getting to the modern time?
No, I'm here.
You've already seen it.
Yeah.
But, like,
done that.
It's different if you've, like, built up everything that society has learned, I feel like. Like, I always wanted to, like, when I played Civilization, like, I haven't played, she has Civ 5 now. But Civ 4 is what Civilization 3.
No, you played Civ 4.
Okay, yeah.
We've spent many lost weekends. We also love to name things based off of whatever like TV show we're watching or whatever. So like we had a Gilmore Girls Civilization. I was thinking about doing a Road to El Dorado Civ this time, but I got assigned the English, so I was like,
Yeah, but like in like Veronica Mars or like Harry Potter, like we'll have a Hogwarts and is our main city and stuff like that. But like, so we've spent a couple weekends just playing the whole time a Civilization, and then we get into the modern era and stuff. But like that, there I kind of echo Phil's sentiment where it's like
you can't do everything.
I haven't
to catch
learned
up.
Enough.
Yeah.
To be in the modern era, and that frustrates
It's
me.
2014 and people can't use clay yet. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any other newer games that you guys like to play?
Well, I mean, I've described your Super Paper Mario deal.
oh, love Super Paper Mario.
Yeah, she was big on Super Paper Mario. For the Wii, like we also played at the beginning of our marriage is just a black hole of competitive Tetris playing.
Yeah. Interesting.
Like we played Tetris together for like a long time right when we got married because we got a Wii for
that was the first time I had a
wedding.
console in the place that I lived was when we got our Wii for when we got
really
married. Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
But then you like pretty much we started getting like puzzle games on it pretty much right away too.
Yeah.
Because you weren't as interested in like Wii Sports or whatever.
I like Wii Sports alright. Yeah.
Although you did have quite a love affair with Hot Shots Golf.
Oh my gosh. The thing is, for me, like, I have to be sick or there has to be, like, a really long period of time. With Hot Shots Golf, I had an infection, and I was pretty much, like, bound to the couch for, like, 4 days while I was recovering from this infection, and, like, all my brain wanted to do was play PlayStation 2 Golf.
Instead of watching Price is Right, you decided to play Hot Shots Golf.
Yeah.
And ever since then, it's been kind of like... It's one of those ones that I like to go back to. Mm-hmm. Like, I still go back to Hot Shots Golf 4 on the PS2.
Yeah.
How did you feel about Power Star Golf, the game that we played during the 24-hour marathon? You, Phil, and I?
Did we play it here?
Yeah, we played it here.
Oh, I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
it was kind of Hot Shotsy.
Oh, yeah. I remember playing golf here. I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah.
The mechanics are a little different, but I mean, all the philosophies are still present. You still have your wind meter. You have your like your
and you sort of have a special.
Yeah.
It was. I did have a big disconnect for Wii Golf because like. I figured out how to like calculate all of my things with little toggles, and then I had to like try and teach my arm to do that.
Yeah, it's like the difference between playing a rock band instrument and an actual instrument. Like it's not the thing. Like I learned a skill that sort of emulates doing this, but I can't do it in real life now.
Yeah. Gotta calculate it so that the object can do it for me.
Yeah, and if let's say we go to like Nickel City. What are the games that you gravitate towards? I mean, obviously there's Super Puzzle Fighter, right?
Yeah, I love Super Puzzle Fighter. That goes back to like Caitlin and I argued the most in our entire friendship because we were like exhausted and it was like 5:00 in the morning and we'd been playing Super Puzzle Fighter for like hours. I can't remember the name of it.
It's the arcade version of Luxor.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know the little circle that spirals out and you shoot the little colored balls?
Right. Is there any more like classic games or older games or games that like are everywhere that you might play?
Well, when we go to arcades, like talking about Nickel City, I think is interesting because there's a good dynamic going on in an arcade where you kind of see what somebody wants to do in that environment. And if she's not at those puzzle games, then she'll play skee-ball or basketball.
Basketball, yeah, okay.
And Dance Dance Revolution.
Yeah. So it's much more physical and real-worldy.
Yeah.
You know?
Interesting.
Unless we go to the barcade, then you don't really play.
No, I don't. I liked Killer Queen, though, when we played Killer Queen.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I seriously, I don't know if you listened to the episode afterwards when we talked about it. I kind of want to join a tournament. Like, I thought we had a pretty solid team. And, like, if we needed backups, we got Phil or David, and we could probably... I think, like, we had a great strategy. Yeah. Like, I'm sure we only played one team.
As long as I'm riding the snail, we've got a great
that snail
strategy.
win was probably the most exciting. We were all cheering. We were all looking forward to it, and it was a lot of fun.
Anybody who's confused, go back a couple episodes.
Yeah.
They talk all about what Killer Queen is in the modern arcade.
I like pinball, too. I do.
I love pinball.
I just always opt for free games over games that take all my quarters away.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
in Nickel
fair enough.
City, all the games in the back, the old games, are absolutely free. You pay your, whatever, $2, $3 to get in, $5
Yeah, it's
to
like
get in,
$5.
and then you can go back and play free games all night if you want.
Yeah.
Did we talk, last time I was on here, did we talk about the Die Hard game?
I don't think so. We've
And
talked
the-
about it so many times.
The
but-
utter hypocrisy.
yeah, of the end of it?
Yeah, it's a 2-player game.
Right.
You can play, it's co-op.
It's cool. Yeah, you're fighting through the building
As
together
two cops
as a
together,
team
yeah.
the entire time.
And then you're fighting your way to the roof.
Yeah,
Like Die Hard.
of course.
You get to the roof, you team up, and you fight the main villain.
Yeah.
And if you were playing for quarters, you would have pumped so many quarters into
yeah,
that main
it's a
villain.
very difficult game.
Yeah.
It's kind of, obviously it's an arcade game. It's very repetitive. It's all the same. But
As soon as you, both working as a team, kill that main villain,
Yeah.
there is one end stage in which the two of you fight to the death.
you have to fight to the death. And I feel like it's like you're trying to win the woman or something. I feel like all of a sudden there's like a female character just standing in between you. It's like only one of you can win. And it's like one of those things too, like when we were playing, we played you had been playing a long time. I walked up, I played towards the end with you, and then we obviously didn't know this was coming. And it was one of those things where it wasn't like there was like a cutscene, even an old cutscene with just like text and all that stuff. It was like, okay, you got to the end. Now kill each other now. And we had no time to process what was happening.
Yeah, and we just kind of stood there.
Yeah.
Because up until then, you couldn't hurt each other, right?
No, yeah.
No. And so we're just kind of standing opposite each other, being like,
What? And it was like first hit point killed you or something too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So you just kind of then punch each other and shoot each other.
Yeah.
It's the worst end of an arcade game in the
Well,
world.
I'm sure they stole it from some other game or something, because there's no way, like, thinking of Die Hard, there'd be absolutely no reason to do that.
No. It wasn't like super like faithful to the movie
No,
anyway.
of course not.
But what arcade game is?
Right.
I mean,
Because they always make them the same time as they're making the movie, and they don't tell them any information. They
Sure.
just give them, like, concept art and be like, here, this movie's kind of about this thing.
actually, maybe one of my favorite arcade games based on a movie is the first like Star Wars game where you're just in the fighter and you're going to blow up the Death Star and you shoot things, because it's super old school. And that we went out of town for a wedding, of like a family wedding, and there was an arcade by the there was Miracle of Miracles.
Yeah.
There was an arcade near the reception site.
Wow.
And I walked over and they had that. It was one of my first times in a video arcade, and they had that Star Wars game, and I thought it was the greatest thing to happen to mankind. Every time I find a new video game system,
Yeah.
I think it's like the beginning of the world, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, that just made me think of, too, there have been some good arcade versions of movies, just not console versions. So I really like the Aliens game that had the two guns. Like, there's like, one gun, they're like two machine guns, but you can only use one at a time, and they kind of swiveled on a thing, and there was like a big giant screen, and you would be going down like corridors and
Oh,
stuff.
really?
Sometimes humans would pop out, sometimes aliens would pop out, and then like your secondary button, which is usually like grenades or something, would actually be like a flamethrower.
Oh, really?
So that was a really good game. That
That
was a lot
sounds
of fun.
pretty cool.
And then sort of similar mechanics-wise was the Terminator 2 game.
I remember the
which
Terminator
had the
2 game.
They had the like machine guns also as the
just
thing.
like the Uzi style.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, but the whole thing took place during like the future war.
Yeah, it was Judgment Day.
Yeah.
No, not Judgment Day. It was the war.
Yeah.
It was the future war. I remember that. That one I pumped a lot of quarters into back when, like, cause did you ever have your birthday party at the arcade?
Yeah.
Where you get, like, they put the pizza in the little room,
Yeah.
and nobody wants to eat the pizza because we're all playing video games.
Right.
It's like the only time you don't want to eat pizza. but that game, I pumped a lot of tokens into.
Yeah.
At Aladdin's Castle.
Yeah, Land's Castle. That's not still there, is it?
No.
But there's a Dave and Buster's at that mall now.
Is there?
Yeah.
Oh. I've never been to a Dave & Buster's.
Really?
Yeah.
I've only been a handful of times, all of which were like with Phil and Caitlin and stuff. We played a newer game that was kind of like that, where there's like the two guns and the big screen, but everything was clowns. All the enemies were clowns, and it was like to the point where like there was spiders with clown faces,
Like scary clowns?
scary clowns.
Yeah.
And like we went on a roller coaster, and then the roller coaster's face turned into a giant clown, which turned into like a clown dragon. And there's just throwing clowns at you left and right. You got to shoot them in their
Sounds
face.
horrifying.
Yep. If I wasn't afraid of clowns beforehand, I am now.
Nice.
But yeah.
Well, you always ask about, you always ask your guests about why do you
Yeah.
play video games. And I'm curious about that. Why do you play video games?
The thing is, and the reason I'm not a bigger gamer is, like, I don't really. It's like 10th on my list, you know, of things to do.
I'm surprised to hear that because you're always playing video
I
games.
guess that's true.
You just don't know it. It's subconscious.
Like, I mean, I'm always playing a game on my phone. I'm always...
What kind of games do you play on your phone? Obviously puzzle games, but what kind of games? Like, specifically.
Jewel Mania? Shoot, I've just forgotten the name of my favorite
I think
game.
it's called
Candy
Fruit
Crush?
Mania.
It's Fruit Mania.
Fruit
It
Mania?
says Fruit Mania. But, like, and I was
Do
doing
you know
that
Fruit Mania?
No.
thing where
Explain
I...
Fruit Mania.
There's little baby mice.
What? I didn't expect that to happen.
There's little baby mice, and you gotta save them by dropping them to the bottom of the screen by connecting lots of colored squares.
Where does the fruit come in?
I think the colored squares are meant to be fruit.
Okay.
Yeah, like the purple fruits are like grape, or the purple squares are like grapes, and the
Uh-huh.
orange squares are like oranges.
They're not even doing
And-
that much work, though.
No, they're just squares that are different colors.
Yeah.
And,
There's just some
when you're
little
getting rid of
graphics
them,
of
you're
fruits
juicing
along
them.
the side of it.
That's what's happening.
What happens
No,
to
that's
the
not
mice?
what's happening.
Yeah, you get a blender.
What? Oh. The blender.
I've never failed at this game. I don't even know what happens. Like,
Yeah, and I'm doing that thing where I go through it and I'm like, I have to get 3 stars on every round.
Yeah.
And I think I may have just let go of that.
see, it's weird because you have a lot of the tendencies to be like obsessed with video games, like the being into puzzles, being like. So when you get to a problem, I say there's like 2 types of people: people that give up, or people that become obsessed with it. And I'm one of the people that becomes obsessed with it. Like I have to do this. And so like I'm surprised that you don't play more. I mean, maybe you do and don't know it. It sounds like.
Yeah, I guess maybe, yeah.
Like,
And I get very, like...
Competitive,
whenever
too,
somebody,
yeah.
like, attacks me in Civilization and Jake will come home and I'll be like,
Stupid Mongolians.
the Egyptians again! Yeah, I get very, like...
Yeah.
I really take it personally.
yeah. See, and I feel like 2 things. There's 3 things that'll be happening if you're not in the midst of like doing a project or whatever. I'll come home and I'll find you on the couch doing 3 things. 1, knitting, or working on crocheting or some kind of crafty thing.
Handicraft.
Yeah, handicrafting. And then, second most, I would say, is playing video games.
Yeah.
You'll either, and it's mostly on your computer. Like, you'll be playing Civilization, or you'll be playing Spider Solitaire. She is a Spider Solitaire junkie.
What makes that different from normal solitaire?
I don't remember anymore. I only
decks
play
have
Spider
spiders on them?
Solitaire now. There's only Spider Solitaire, Chris.
That's all there is now.
That's all there is.
Yeah.
No, it's 2 packs of cards, and you don't have to alternate colors when you put them on, and
Oh.
you don't have a pack from which you draw them. It's all down on the thing.
Interesting.
But it's been
Right.
I was not prepared to answer this question
Yeah.
on the
I'll
spot.
have to.
I was
my
told
notes.
we wouldn't discuss Spider
Right.
Solitaire.
This was not in my line notes.
No, yeah. You gotta get a better PR guy.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got a little bit of time left on the podcast. Should we play some games and then review those? How do you guys feel about that?
Oh,
That sounds good.
that sounds
play some
lovely.
party games, guys?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
That's great.
Now we're
back.
back. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So having played the Jackbox Party Pack, all I have to say is boo. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I had a really great
2
time.
thumbs up.
Up. There was a lot of gesturing involved.
There was.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is great for podcasting.
Yeah.
But,
I speak with my hands, you guys, so interpret that.
well, Chris has talked about the Jackbox Party Pack on the podcast before, and I have listened to every episode of the This Isn't Fun Anymore podcast. And I gotta tell you this, you guys, this is fun still. This game.
Nice. That's going to be our quote. You know?
That's the
yeah,
end.
That's
That's the
the
end one?
soundbite.
There you go. So, like he said before in the previous podcast, it's like basically a party game set. You've got 5 games on it. Drawful, You Don't Know Jack, Fibbage, Wordspud, and Lie Swatter. And I defy most people in America to not know what You Don't Know Jack is.
Yeah, it's been around for a long time. PC
Which-
games and
Which would you say is your favorite?
We played all of them.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what we did. We kind of went through and played all
how
of
about
them.
before you say which one is your favorite, do you want to just do a quick rundown of each game and a little review of it, like what you guys thought of it?
Sure.
Starting with so the first and last game we played was Drawful.
Yeah.
You guys what do you guys think of that?
I thought it was a lot of fun.
It ends up working really well as a party game. I have an art degree, so Jake was like, oh, Eliza's going to win. But it doesn't matter because you've got like 10 seconds to draw on your phone or tablet, and like everybody's skills are the same at that rate. So
Yeah.
Yeah, so like a prompt pops up on your personal device. Everybody's looking for all of these games. There's a TV attached to the system. Everybody has either their phone or a tablet that they can interact with individually in their hands, and they do their own thing on the thing, and it shows up on the screen for people to judge or talk about. And so for Drawful, you have to draw a quick image that describes whatever phrase they gave you.
Right,
which
and
is
like
usually
it's something ridiculous. Like Eliza said, even if you're really good at drawing, it doesn't really matter because one, you're on your device, and two, the sentence they give you is like, it's just absolutely ridiculous. Like the first, I used this as an example before. The first one I ever got was puking on a baby. So, like that's the kind of ridiculousness that you're gonna get.
Yeah.
See, that I can visualize, but like
Right.
Ninja's
And
Closet, you did exceptionally well
This
with.
time I got a surprising tapeworm.
Yeah. It's funny, Jake's always seemed to be in the same realm of drawing.
Like
which was
ass-related imagery.
It always had to do with like one specific person that always had curly hair. Because either it was, what was the first guy? It was Mark Twain, and then you had a clown. And then you had this other guy that just had curly hair.
Well, I gave him curly hair because the previous guy had curly hair that time. It was a callback. But it was like Drawful was... It was the one I looked forward to the least because I can't draw at all.
Yeah.
I can't draw at all. But I thought it was like just a lot of fun to play.
Yeah, we certainly laughed the most while playing that game.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And there's like a lot of different layers to it. Like it's fun trying to draw the ridiculous thing. It's fun laughing at everybody's pictures, and it's fun coming up with funny answers for what they could possibly be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and a lot of the funny answers still work because the initial clues are funny.
Yeah.
So it's not like if you draw a funny answer, people are going to be like, ha ha, but still not pick it. Like you can do a funny answer and people will still pick it because the answers are ridiculous.
Right.
It's a really fun game.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then you don't know Jack.
And I would call that a great equalizer.
Yeah.
Which is a really good thing to have in a party game.
Yeah.
Yeah, whereas you don't know Jack if you
How many
know
people
a
can
little
play
more
Drawful?
trivia.
8. 3 to 8, I believe.
Okay,
You have to have at least
that's a solid
3.
amount.
Yeah.
All right.
So then, you don't know Jack is a trivia game with kind of puns involved. So there's always a twist on the question they're asking you. And then it's a multi-answer option.
With a lot of humor, like always involved.
Yeah, it's a little bit more straightforward, though. Out of all the games in the pack, it's the most just straight trivia and like you said, it's comical. Like they try to think of funny answers or funny ways to phrase the questions, and there's different segments and stuff like Kangaroo, Peanut, Albert Einstein, or Uranus.
Or this or that, which
Right.
I loved this time.
Yeah.
Which was Anna Karenina versus
Justin Timberlake
Justin
songs.
Timberlake songs.
Yeah, which was great.
Yeah, but it's the most competitive probably because it's just like you get points if you get it right, you get points deducted if you get it wrong.
Well, when did they first? Do you know when they first made You Don't Know Jack?
It had to be the 90s.
I would
It was
I would say like
least-
90, 91.
Right.
Yeah.
So this game is, my God, it's like over 20 years old.
25 years old, yeah.
Yeah, and it's the same.
Yeah.
Like that speaks to a pretty well-designed game.
Yeah,
like,
certainly they've changed a little bit of features here and there. And before it was just like a bunch of random questions, and then you would do it. Now they kind of set them into episodes.
Sure.
So they have like sponsors and stuff, fake sponsors, and
Sure.
they do fake commercials now between the episodes.
But by and
I
large,
remember that from the 90s,
yeah,
too.
they've done fake commercials for a while.
by and
Yeah.
large, it feels very similar to the game that we all played first in the 90s.
Yeah.
And again, it was just a good time. It was a lot of fun to play.
Yeah. It's the same guys wrote it that wrote all the other ones. It's a Chicago-based company.
Is
actually.
it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then Fibbage, of course, we loved.
Yeah.
Like ever since I first played it, back when you guys were doing the 24-hour marathon, that is just a great group game.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And the more people you have, the more fun it is. Probably with all these games, that's true.
Yeah.
But that game especially, because then you actually do get more...
Wait, so let's talk about
Answers.
what Fibbage is.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about it a couple times. Actually, the first episode, I talked about Fibbage for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
We also talked about it for when we did the
Marathon.
the live stream marathon. But yeah, so it's another trivia game, but instead of giving you the answer outright, they give you the question, and then everybody gets to use their device to come up with a fake answer. So it's like blah, 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 blank whatever, and then you have to write the answer. And same as like Drawful, they're ridiculous. Like the point of the question is to be ridiculous, so that way you can come up with fun, silly answers, and it still might be the right thing.
Right. Although there are a lot of logical answers in that one too.
Yeah.
Like, so you kind of have to choose if you're going to do, like, a funny answer so hope that people vote you up.
Yeah.
Or if you're going to try and, like, fake people out legitimately. Like, I did one where there's this annual kicking competition. What do they kick? And I did squash because I didn't think pumpkins were a thing over there. And it fooled you guys.
Right. Well, that's the thing, too. They do sort of mix it up. Like, sometimes they're joke answers, like the answer's going to be funny, but sometimes it is straightforward, so you never know what it's going to be.
No, and it's just
and that
really...
one ended up being Shin, which is the least expected answer.
Yeah. The real answer was Shin. Yeah. And that was a lot of fun. Fibbage is just a lot of fun. Word Spud is Lie Swatter and Word Spud.
So Word Spud is the building... Do you want me to explain it?
Yeah.
So Word Spud is it just starts off with one word, and one of the people I think you can have maybe 8 up to that too, has to type in something. So you use the word as a base, and you usually type in a word or a phrase that you think of.
So like say jumping is the first word that comes up, and it indicates which one of the players needs to fill it in.
Yeah.
So you say Jack Flash.
Right.
So jump and Jack Flash. People decide if they like it or they don't.
And then you get points based on that, and then it keeps building. So then
then
the next
they
person
take the last Flash
is
the first one, and then your neighbor, and it's
I was gonna
somebody
say-
did Flash your neighbor.
Right,
That's
Flash
a great
dance.
one. I would have voted that up.
Flash dance.
Yeah.
And if it's not your turn to input an answer, you can also write something, and it'll show up on screen. So if you think of funny things,
but it only shows up on screen. It doesn't give you points based on that at all.
No, it's just for the people that are sitting around to
Yeah.
do something. Also, if you're like, I had a really good thing for that.
I had the hardest time with that one because it puts you on the spot, and you have to...
The other people aren't doing anything at the same time either.
Yeah.
It's just on that one person.
Yeah.
But at the end, then you have this weird word tree
Yeah.
of every answer that happened based on the other ones.
Pro rate, this feels terrible. Two's a party on this lap dance for Jake. Used to be great dictator. Tots tater, don't they? Are right behind you. Used to be my friend. Touch 3 times. A popping corn in my teeth. Brush my Kimini Jick.
And some of them are funny and some of them aren't. But it's all based on the room very much. And then Lie Swatter, very simple. It's the true and false game.
Yeah, it's just a straight up trivia. All the questions are kind of ridiculous, so you don't know if they're true or false, and those are your only options are true or false.
Right.
And there's like 3 rounds.
Press true or press lie.
Right. And like I said, it's very basic, and the idea for that is like you're supposed to play with a whole bunch of people. You can play up to 100 people on that game. So you get points for getting it right, and you also get a point if you were the fastest out of all the people.
Yeah.
So
to answer correctly. Which also was fun.
Yeah, I feel like for me, there's nothing wrong with that game, but it's the least interesting. There's the least to it and the least sort of fun.
That's the thing. It's the most straightforward. Like, True or False is one of the oldest games in the world.
Yeah.
And they just have made it technology-based.
Right.
So that's that's fair game. And the fact that you can play it with 100 people is super cool. Like, none of the other games can accommodate that kind of numbers.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was good. So
overall, what was your favorite, or what were a couple that you guys liked?
Liz, what was your favorite?
Drawful. Drawful was the most fun.
Really?
Drawful was the most
both You Don't Know Jack and
fun.
Fibbage, which was the reigning champions before.
I really like Fibbage.
Yeah.
I'm not as good at You Don't Know Jack as I used to be.
Also, it's sort of hit or miss with the questions. Sometimes you'll get like a bunch of questions, you'll know them all, and sometimes you'll get like -1 million.
But Drawful had the new and the fun, and we were laughing the most.
Drawful was awesome. Drawful was the most fun. It's the like you said, we started and ended with Drawful. It's the only one we played twice.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is exactly all the things that you said.
Yeah.
It's just super fun. You're afraid to draw at first. You're like, I can't draw. This isn't going to be fun. But it doesn't matter because it's all about interpretations, answers, participation. Like, nobody's drawings are good.
Yep.
No, and
They're
that's
just
the point.
The initial drawing, like, you drew like a little character for yourself, Eliza.
Yeah.
And it was good.
It was really good.
I
yeah.
know,
So
but I know how to draw me. I don't
Yeah.
know how to draw a surprising tapeworm. You know?
yeah, like the first thing happens when you input your name in this game. It also makes you do a self-portrait. So you just draw a little character of yourself, and a lot like I just said hi. Jake.
I drew a star.
He drew a star, and then Eliza do like an actual picture that looks like a real picture.
Like of a girl.
Like if she would have used like a pencil and paper to draw it.
But like whatever, you know.
And we were both like, oh.
Yeah, here we go. But then when you get like a weird clue, there's no way. Like draw taco salad, you guys.
Yeah.
Like I tried to.
Where's the meat?
Yeah.
Yeah, is one of the answers that somebody ended up drawing.
Yeah.
I drew a taco pointing to a bowl of scribbles.
Yep.
Is that what it actually was?
Yeah.
There we go.
See, she didn't know.
Yeah.
Her thing was, where's the meat?
Yeah.
She thought the taco didn't have any
She
meat.
thought it was a hamburger bun.
It looked like a hamburger
Oh.
bun
'Cause you
with
did the
like
dots on the
lettuce.
taco
Yeah.
shell.
With,
Well,
like the
yeah.
little
taco
sesame
shells have
No, of
dots.
course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, but I interpreted it as the sesame seeds on the top of a hamburger
See,
bun.
clearly, you guys, this game is hilariously fun.
Yeah.
So Drawful was absolutely for the both of us. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned that when I played with my sisters too. Like, it ended up that was probably the most fun we had out of all the games. Like, I love You Don't Know Jack. I really like Fibbage. Fibbage is great with 8 people, but we always have the most fun just playing Drawful.
We must say also that there's no way to beat Chris Davis at these games.
I think you make Dirk Danger.
Who's Dirk Danger?
I don't know. He's this really cool guy with sunglasses and a half smile.
He kicked our asses at all of them. Least fun of the 5
Ooh,
party
okay.
pack. Least fun. Or should we do them in order? Like, is that okay?
Whatever
we
you
did.
guys
We did
feel
the
like.
top. What's the least fun?
I'd say Word Spud. Like Word
Really?
Spud is fine.
Huh.
It's good, but
I'm gonna go Licewater.
yeah, I think Licewater has a universal appeal.
Just the true false factor.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that 3 people is maybe not like the ideal way to do Licewater.
Sure.
No. But it's the same thing too. It's like I just gauged it on our reaction while we were playing. For Lice Fodder, it was either huh or oh yeah.
Yeah.
But when we were playing Word Spud, we were laughing occasionally.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
I
So-
think Word
That's
Spud.
true.
I think the thing I enjoy about Word Spud is the same thing I enjoy about Fibbage and Drawful. It allows for like a little bit of injection of personal creativity.
Yeah.
Like you can kind of express your own sense of humor into it, whereas You Don't Know Jack, you are enjoying their sense of humor and proving how much you know or don't.
Yeah.
You know? And Licewater is straight up, do you know this thing? Whereas with the other ones, you actually get to put your own personality into the game.
Yeah.
And so for me, I think the least fun was Licewater because it doesn't have the personality of You Don't Know Jack, but you also don't get to, all you get to really answer is true or false. You don't get to like make up your own little twist on it.
Yeah.
It's fair.
I'll also say it has the worst announcer voice out of all of them.
Yeah, and plus
Just
I get
least boring.
he
Most
is
to
boring,
me.
but
Yeah.
also like as soon as somebody types in that, like there's 7 flies show up, you have 7 questions for each round. So then the first fly gets up there and he's got a question written on him. And then as soon as somebody types in an answer, he gets really freaked out. The fly on the screen is like, oh, God.
Yeah.
You know, like his eyes get all weird and he starts looking around and everything. And it just kind of, it was
little
a little
weird.
anxiety filled
Okay,
for
yeah.
me.
Yeah. Okay. You felt bad for the flies.
I did, but I also just don't want flies flying toward me.
Okay. Fair
And they
enough.
fly right up and they have a question written on them.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, like, I'd rather not answer the question. I just want to kill the fly.
Yeah. That's why you're hoping all the answers were lies so they'd swat the bugs.
Yeah.
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 What about you, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, that was my least favorite too, was Licewater.
Was
There's,
it?
Like I said, nothing wrong with it, but it's a little vanilla and it's less fun. Like, no laughing, just like, you kind of learn some stuff sometimes. Like, it's all ridiculous trivia.
Sure.
So everything could really be true or false.
Yeah.
And I guess it's, I don't know, it's probably the easiest to play alone because you don't need other people to interact with. You can play with one other person,
That's
with
true.
300 other people.
Well,
and it's
and
the
you're
same
just-
experience for yourself.
You're just playing against the facts.
Yeah.
At that point. So it's probably the... No, I guess you could play You Don't Know Jack by yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do.
Sure.
A lot.
So you do know all the answers.
Well, I've played all of them over the years, all
Sure.
the time, and I feel like I get a lot of my knowledge of things, like
Your
you know,
general knowledge
some
from
general
You Don't Know
knowledge
Jack.
of like history and art and stuff like
Sure.
that.
Okay, but this is the tough one. Drawful was the most fun for all of us. Second most fun. And then that's all we need to know.
Okay.
First, second, and worst.
Yeah, it's just runner up, and then everybody else lost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I had a lot of fun playing all of them, honestly. Like, I could sit and play all of those games for a pretty good amount of time. If you're in a group of friends. you know?
Yeah.
But second favorite. Thing you had the second most fun with. We both answered first. Your turn.
Oh, you want me to go?
Yeah.
Second favorite would probably be Fibbage.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if you're playing with somebody else. If you're playing by yourself, then you don't know Jack. Because one, I think it's probably geared best towards one-player games.
Party game, group play.
Fine.
We'll say group.
As a party, I would definitely play Fibbage. Because, like I said too before, people always get mad when you play You Don't Know Jack. Because it gets super competitive, both because it's right or wrong and it's time-based, like whoever answers first, and then because there's a delay in your devices.
Yeah.
At the end, when only one person during the Jack attack can get the answer right, that's when people get frustrated because they're like, I pressed it,
Sure,
but there's always that 1 or 2 second delay before it comes up on the screen.
We had somebody playing with us who wasn't in the room, somebody who just was watching us on Twitch. And since they had a lag during that timed release, they just kept pressing the button and taking the point hit until they were the first to get the answer right.
Yeah, so yes, they got the question right, but they got so many negatives it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that, what about you?
Fibbage. Yeah,
Fibbage second?
Absolutely. I really liked Fibbage from the last time we played it, so...
See, it might just be because this was the first time I got to play it, and we did play it twice in a row. We didn't do that with the other ones, but I really liked WordsBud a lot.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
I thought the idea of, like, building off of this word, then taking that word, and the next person having to build, and kind of the word...
Yeah, it's like an improv game.
It is, but then, yeah. It's like the constant yes.
Yeah.
Like, what's
Yes,
the next
and.
thing?
Right.
Yeah. And then the word tree at the end was kind of fun, but just the idea that you had to constantly be trying to, like, what can I make out of this thing? And trying to make it interesting and fun was a lot of fun for me. I really liked WordsBud, so that would be my second favorite of the night. I don't know if it's just because I previously played Fibbage.
Yeah.
And I love Fibbage, but I really liked WordsBud tonight.
Yeah, I mean, looking in the little menu of the party pack, WordsBud was one of those games where I thought I was going to like it the least, just because it seemed kind of boring and one note. But when you do play it with people, it is, I think, a better game.
It's a personality game.
Yeah.
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 Fibbage is too. Fibbage is too. And I think there's more room for more people in Fibbage as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is great. But there's no denying the sheer fun of Drawful.
Yeah. So I think that's probably done with the Jackbox Party Pack.
Yeah.
But there's some news that I kind of wanted to talk about.
Oh, you got some video game news?
A little bit. Just a little bit that I wanted to talk about with you personally. Did you see this guy sold a personalized Ecto 1? He got a Ghostbusters Ecto 1, like a pretty big size model, and modded it so it would play Nintendo cartridges.
No.
So it's pretty great. So he took it, like I said, he modded it. You can stick the cartridge right in the sort of back of, the ambulance sort of thing. It lights up. It's got like blue lights and everything. The controller itself is awesome. It looks like a little Ghostbusters thing, and the buttons are green and backlit, so they glow like a Slimer green. It's pretty great. I'll throw the picture up actually on the Twitter, but I'm going to show you in person right now the pictures of it if I can find it.
That's crazy. So it was just like, it's basically a console. Is it a Nintendo?
Yeah,
console?
It's an original Nintendo.
That's pretty awesome. Oh wow, sure. The glowing buttons really sells it.
For me, yeah, that controller is absolutely awesome.
Man, I just love how much people will take, like, their own interests and make an insane hobby out of it.
Right, and it's time appropriate also, because when the Ghostbusters movie came out, that's kind of the console you would be playing. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. And another interesting thing is it went for like almost $750, which is way.
He sold it?
He sold it on eBay for that much because there's only one of them. He made it himself, and it kind of got a little bit of press. So there's a lot of people there. It got like a whole bunch of. It's
worth more than that.
I think so too, but it's more expensive than any current generation console. You could probably buy 2 or 3 of them for that price.
And it's just an original Nintendo console.
And I still think it's pretty awesome. It's worth it. It's one of a kind. It's amazing. It's
that's
very well done.
Like it's beautifully made. It should be worth more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. 750 does not seem adequate to me.
No, not at all.
And another thing is, so Microsoft just had a press conference to announce their new operating system, like Windows 10.
Sure.
Even though it's the 9th operating system.
Uh-huh.
We've talked about that before, but they're really bad at naming things, but they're trying to keep up with OS X. Anyways, one of the cool things you can do is you can stream Xbox games now on your computer or tablet. So like Xbox One games, like if I'm on vacation and I want to play games on my laptop, I can do that. Like that's pretty cool.
What the hell?
But a really cool thing is they have this hologram technology now. It's called holodeck or something similar to that. But basically, it's a mixture between like Oculus Rift VR glasses and like Google glasses because it doesn't actually, I don't know, it doesn't block your vision of what's going on in the outside world, but it projects things in the room that you're in.
Stop it.
But only on your glasses. So, like, one of the examples they showed was a guy was looking at his desk, but it was actually a level in Minecraft. Like, he saw the level in Minecraft in three-dimensional space. So it's kind of like augmented reality, but it's like one step closer to the Jason X version of video games where you're, like, immersed inside the experience. So I don't have any like media to show you for that.
You're saying I'm like 5 years away from walking into Crystal Lake and Camp Crystal Lake and slamming sleeping bags into a tree?
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I haven't looked into it too much, but I think they sort of use like the new Kinect sensor for the Xbox One. One of the things it does is it knows where the ground is.
That's crazy.
So because it knows exactly where the ground is at all times, it
can build off of it.
It does a better job of like, if you're standing on 1 foot or something like that, because before it would just put a skeleton on top of your body and then it would kind of not always know. Like if you're on 1 foot, it'd get all crazy, things like that.
Yeah.
But now that it knows exactly where the floor is and it maps out other things in the room, because it has like IR cameras, I think they kind of use that technology for this. So it's like, okay, we know like where a table is or a surface, even if you move your head and move around, it keeps track of everything. So I don't know.
That's pretty awesome.
It seems really cool, and all the people that have tried it so far says it's actually really awesome.
It's like when David brought that new David Wolf, who was a previous guest on this show, brought that
3DS.
The 3DS, where like the things were happening to the. You were looking at the screen, and the things in the room behind the screen were integrated into the game.
Right.
Like holes were appearing in the chair or whatever, and people were falling in and stuff. Like that was awesome.
Yeah, it's the same idea, just taken further, and it has a better display system because you're just wearing clear glasses on your face.
We're not using technology now to escape to a new world. We're using it to bring the things to our world.
Yeah.
We don't want the things here, Chris.
They're bad things.
Yeah.
They'll kill us.
We don't want them in our rooms. Like, if a horror game is in my glasses, man, I'm going to freak out.
It's like something jumps out from behind the chair or something.
If, like, I look at that door, and all of a sudden, like, Samara from The Ring comes through it and, like, starts, like, Japanese film jumping toward me, I'm going to freak out.
But you would also want to play it at least.
Yeah,
once.
I would want to play it, but I would be terrified the whole time.
Yeah, see, he loves horror movies, but he plays horror games, and he's like 7 times more scared of horror games than he is of horror movies.
Because you like put yourself in the character. You're like, they're coming at you.
I'm responsible for dealing with it. I think I said this in the last podcast. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
They're coming at me, and I have to deal with it. The character I'm looking at doesn't.
No, yeah.
Well, they do, because I'm controlling them.
Right, but it's not like in a movie where it's like, they're going to make the decisions they're going to make.
Yeah, and I can be like, judge from over here.
Exactly. I can either look away and pretend I'm not scared, or I can just be like, I shouldn't have run upstairs,
Yeah. Come on. Be serious. Do the right thing. Instead, I have to do the right thing, and it's awful. Because all I want to do is run upstairs.
Yep. A couple episodes ago, I'm not sure when it was, but Phil was talking about how they built a life-size Pac-Man.
I heard about it,
in Los Angeles. And at the time, he accredited it to some artist or whatever. He thought it was like an artist installation because there wasn't that much information out about it. Now we know it was actually built by Budweiser for their Super Bowl commercial.
Yep.
So that was just a quick correction of something what we said before.
Absolutely. Still awesome.
Oh, still awesome, but it also makes sense why it's built so well with such like high production value.
Because it's from a huge corporation.
They probably spent $1 million on it and like actually got licensed to use everything.
Yeah.
So
no, it looks awesome, and I look forward to seeing the finished commercial with it as well.
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. News.
Nice. That's our new news segment.
I like it. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
That was the news segment.
News.
All right. That's why... Oh, you never really answered. What was your reason to play video games? You said that it's like 10th on your list of things to do.
Yeah, initially.
But when you do decide to play a game, what would be a reason? Either when you were growing up or now.
Yeah. What's the Eliza Tozer /
You
now
really
Jarvi?
sidestepped that question.
I really, really don't know how to answer that question.
Is it just to fill time, or
Don't
does
lead
it
the witness.
I mean,
Oh,
I
no,
like
I'm
to
kidding,
do
no,
it, but I just...
like think about like whenever I say like, you know, you do this thing where you sometimes you'll be like, well, what should I do? I could do this, and then I'll say you could play Civ 5, and you go ooh. That ooh indicates a thing. What does it trigger in you?
She's gonna die to get out of this.
That ooh means, I didn't think of that. That sounds fun. It's always fun to play video games, but it's like, I usually feel like I ought to do something else first, like, I don't know, do the dishes, go to the bank, whatever. But then, like, I don't want to go to the bank, and I don't want to do the dishes, so I want to play a video game.
Yeah, why do you think you feel like you should be doing something other than playing video games?
Is there a stigma attached to it that if I play a video game, I'm wasting my time?
I mean, no, but I know that once I start playing a video game, I'm not moving away from that for a while. So,
It's
like,
an
if I
addiction aversion.
if I actually need to accomplish something, I do need to prioritize that.
That's fair. And to me lately, I feel like the ultimate escape from stuff is video games. Like, if I'm like, I don't want to do anything. Like, I don't even want to sit down and watch a movie because I engage with movies
On a different level.
in a different way.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I as somebody who makes visual entertainment, I spend a lot of my movie watching time being like
Critiquing
what
things
the
and paying
hell?
attention. Yeah.
Like, or they should have done this.
You
How-
can't
how
shut
they
your
do
brain
this,
off
or they
when you
should have
play
done this,
when you watch
yeah.
a movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Or why'd they do this? And so when I play a game, I'm not thinking that stuff. I'm just thinking
Objective.
Move left to right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, I bring it back to side scroller since that's what Phil always does. And I'm replacing Phil today.
Of course, yeah.
So like I should be like everything side scroller is good.
Yeah.
But like just sitting down and playing I said it on the past 2 episodes I've been here, sitting down and playing Alan Wake, sitting down here and playing BioShock, sitting down.
I love BioShock.
BioShock's so good.
Have you played any BioShock, or you just watch it?
I watched Jake play BioShock, but I am very, very happy watching Jake play BioShock because the visuals on that game are amazing.
Sitting down and playing Walking Dead, sitting down like just sitting down and engaging with something that way, which is not a way that I personally seek to engage others, you know? It's not something I would create. I wouldn't create a video game.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know how to start. So I can just sit down and play it and just...
Get lost in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just fun, man. It's time that I know... Like, I feel like I'm accomplishing stuff because I'm getting achievement. I'm unlocking achievements. And I'm killing bad
progressing through a
guys.
story,
Yeah. And all that stuff. But at the same time, I don't feel like... It feels like entertainment to me, you know? Like, I'm passing time having fun.
Yeah.
And that is what I look to video games for.
Good answer, Eliza.
Well,
I keep...
No, it's okay.
So sorry.
So, like, things like Tetris and Spider Solitaire, like, I can play a game of those and, like, just be, like, can be 20 minutes of my time. But, like, if I can only give Civilization 20 minutes of my time, that's not worth it.
It's
I
not
want to
enough to
give
get into it.
like, 3 to 5 hours minimum, like, to actually...
Before Egypt shows up.
to actually, like, get my talons into it, you know?
Yeah.
So I just, like, I sometimes I think, oh, I really want to play a video game. Wait, do I have time to accomplish what I want to accomplish in this video game? I don't.
That's true. Phil would often say, like, maybe you too. You'd be like, this is a game where you can just, I have 20 minutes, I can pop in and do a level, or I can do a campaign or whatever.
Which is one of the things I enjoy about Lego Harry Potter, is because the levels are very, like...
Yeah, compact and short and, like, yeah.
But I also, maybe it's just the thing of becoming an adult, too. Like, I feel like 20 minutes almost isn't time enough to do anything.
No, yeah, for sure. And, I mean, it's all on how you play, too. If you want to explore every little nook and cranny, you can spend an hour going through some one space that somebody would spend 5 minutes on.
And that's
Yeah.
Eliza. Eliza
Right.
wants to search out every aspect
Tomb Raider
of
too.
things.
Like I wanted all of the. I can't even remember what they were, but like
Collectibles.
the little
All the
hidden
side-
things,
yeah.
all
Yeah.
of the side things. I want to know what that world looks. Somebody spent time on that map, and I like maps. I want to find the whole map.
Yeah, and then I can also feel like when we're playing Lego Harry Potter, because you can play it together as a couple. Like if you get through there and you don't hit, at the end of a level, if we don't rack up True Wizard, I can feel her being a little disappointed next to me.
Like Jake and I play games differently. He's like goal oriented. He's like, let's finish this, and I'm like, I need all of the coins.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Jake goes for the objectives on the screen, like get through the store or like whatever.
Yeah,
And I was
or
just
like,
I gotta find
Dobby
all the
is on the
secrets.
run. Get him.
Yeah.
Like I just want to get Dobby, and she's like, Dobby will wait for us. We gotta collect these things.
Yeah.
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 So what is it like? Is that the only game that you guys play like together? Either because it's either
Usually, yeah.
competitively or you hand off the controller, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we usually, because most of the games we have played together are single player games.
Yeah, we typically hand off the controller, which I really enjoy. I have no issues with that.
Yeah, and so like we played Portal 2 that way, where like each level we'd hand it off, or if somebody was like, if I get to a point where I'm just like, what am I supposed to do?
Right.
She'll be like, let me see, and she'll like take it and
Yeah,
work
because
us out
sometimes
of there.
fresh eyes on a puzzle helps.
Or to just plain old determination, which she
Yeah.
has in spades. Whereas I get frustrated if I can't do something fairly quickly. Like, I'll give it a little bit of time, but if, like, I look around and then I look around a third time,
Yeah.
I'm like, nope, I can't.
They obviously didn't want me to see this.
Yeah, I clearly am going to stand here for a long time, and I just want to keep moving forward.
How far did you get in Portal 2?
We got really close to the end.
I think we got pretty close to the end.
Okay.
But again, we rent most of our video games, so I think we have.
And the library gives you a good, like, week on it. But still, a week is for if you're
with a larger scale game.
Yeah. On like a holiday weekend, if we dig in and say we're just gonna play, like we knocked out the Japanese game where you roll
Katamari.
Katamari.
Yeah.
We knocked out Katamari in like a day.
Yeah.
But that's all we did that day.
Yeah.
Like, and that's fun.
That was
like
a
just
great
handing
day.
Yeah, it was a great day. We had orange rolls and played Katamari. Like just passing it back and forth. And to me, like, I think that is a good, like, that's a good kind of couple game because it's not, like, if you don't hit your goal, it's not like the end of the world. Like, you just go back and start rolling around again, you know?
Did you guys try the co-op for Portal 2?
Oh.
No, I didn't know there was such a thing.
There is a separate sort of multiplayer thing, but it's two people. You each control your own character, and there's, like, specific puzzles just for two people.
Oh,
It's
really?
got like its own little story and stuff. You play as two little bots that are trying to test the like missions before the people come in. So it's like a tall, skinny one and a short, fat one. And you can like wave to each other and do different things. And it uses a little bit of different mechanics because there's two people.
That sounds fun.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Super cool.
you
No,
guys should try that out if you ever get to play again.
Right. Well, the thing is, too, like, all of a sudden, our library, the library closest to us, they do not have Portal 2 anymore.
Yeah,
Like, we had it, we rented it, like, twice.
I bet it got
you know,
scratched.
get as
Redbox
far as
usually has it, but
Oh,
sorry.
great. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Portal 2 we did that way. All the Tomb Raiders we did that way.
Yep.
We passed Super Mario back and forth. Or Super Paper Mario.
Although I think I did a lot more playing on Super Paper Mario than you. That's like the only one where I was like the primary
Right.
person.
And there, like, it wasn't like she wanted to hand off for, like, a lot of the combat stuff. She would hand off some of the jumps. But that was it, you know? And you got much, like, you were unconfident in your jumping at first, but you got much better at jumping through Super Paper Mario.
I still am, and that like was my issue with Killer Queen too. I'm just not confident with jumping.
Well,
I don't like
you know,
falling,
that's why
you
it's good-
guys.
well, that's
I
why
don't
this-
like falling in real life, and I don't
Yeah.
like falling on a video screen either.
in video games it's a lot easier. But that's why it was good that the snail was on the bottom level.
Exactly.
All you had to do was fall down to
That's
it
why
and then
I am the snail rider.
ride it to victory.
Well, that's the thing too, and coming back to why I'm so good at jumping, it's that ratio rocket game.
That's exactly, yeah. You have the angles and how much energy it takes to get over there. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially since controllers got to a place where like you kind of light jump with the light press and the super jump with the hard press.
Yeah.
They finally caught up with my like where I am mentally.
Yeah. Like you used to do all those calculations in your
In
brain.
my head, yeah.
Instantly.
Right. Like Excite Bike couldn't really excite me. It was like mediocre bike.
So I know you played a little bit of BioShock Infinite, but you rented that game as well, right?
I did. I rented
Were
it
you
from the
interested
library.
in the
Did you?
short amount of time that
I
you
thought
played
you
it?
borrowed from Phil.
No, BioShock Infinite I got from the library. I don't think Phil has it.
Phil has it now,
Oh,
but
okay.
he has not opened it up.
Yeah, back in the day.
Because
See-
it's a great game and he doesn't want to touch it.
Yeah, sure. I rented it from the library. Again, great opening. You know, like I haven't played BioShock 2.
World building. BioShock world building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it's incredible. And like they throw you right into that like weird water hall where like the kind of worshiping is going on.
yeah,
It's kind of like a
religious.
church.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't feel comfortable here. This is weird. And then they throw you up into the Cloud City.
Yeah.
And I just started violently killing people. But
There's a long time in that game. At least I felt like that originally. The second playthrough, I noticed that it wasn't that long, but I felt like it was like a long time before I got a gun or a weapon. In this case, it was the skyhook was the first thing you get, the melee weapon. But I really enjoyed just walking around the town as it was supposed to be before it all went
absolutely.
to shit. Like
yeah,
I
you
really,
just want to see what's in the town.
yeah, like I went to like every storefront. I tried to overhear all the conversations. I went through all the trash cans. Like I did all the stuff I could.
Yeah.
And I was a little bit upset when the
So you
combat
started as a homeless bum.
Pretty
like
much.
just digging through the trash.
Yeah,
of
I didn't
this
have any money or
advanced
anything.
City. No, I know.
I wanted to get bubble gum and stuff so I could make a bazooka.
Oh,
Because
like
all you
the Home
need
Alone
is
2
a
game.
screw and a
Bazooka
pipe,
Joe.
and then you have a bazooka. But yeah, I definitely recommend it. After playing through the entire first game, that the only reason I would say don't start it is if you haven't played the first game, even though they really aren't
The
connected.
first game was incredible, and the second game I didn't play. So BioShock Infinite. What I did see of it, I enjoyed a lot. I think the mechanics of controlling the character were a little more advanced for Infinite than they were for BioShock.
Sure.
And for someone like myself, who is not a particularly skilled first-person shooter guy, I got a little more frustrated with it quickly. So when I did put it down, because, you know, Liz got home from work or whatever,
Yeah.
I was not as inclined to pick it up again right away, because I felt like I was already at a disadvantage.
I hear what you're saying.
It was less auto-target.
Yeah, well, especially that first encounter where it's like all you have is the skyhook, which is the melee weapon, and there's like 5 or 6 cops around you, and they all have guns.
Yeah, well,
And
I picked up
I
the
remember
guns from
dying a
those
bunch
guys.
of times the
Yeah.
first time I played it too.
Well, and I grabbed the guns from those guys too. Like, and so then when I was going on, but I'm not great at like taking somebody's gun and then targeting at a distance. They always are
Yeah.
running toward me, and I'm like shooting around them and
Right.
panicking. And it's like when I like feeling that kind of sense of
Panic. Yeah.
where I actually have to target physically with the right thumbstick or whatever, and I just can't calm
hate
down enough
that.
to do it.
Have you gotten to the point where you're actually moving around on the skyhook sort of things?
I think I have.
Because it gets a little bit easier to target then, because you're flying around, it's much harder for them to hit you, and you can just sort of aim towards them and it locks onto them.
Okay,
So
see,
you might have a little bit more
I
fun
need a
with
little
that.
more locking on. I need
Yeah.
the game to help me in that thing, because I'm not as. That's my thing about shooters. I'm not super skilled at aiming myself. Like, I can get in the vicinity,
Yeah, and then you just pull the trigger.
but I
whether or
can't
not
get a
you're-
headshot. Yeah. As soon as I get close to somebody, I start panic pulling the trigger.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm that kind of maniac
Yeah.
playing a first-person shooter.
Well, we all saw the live stream you did with Phil of Rainbow Six. The great tactical shooting. The good part of about that game too is sometimes the AI wouldn't notice if you shot by them but not hit them.
Yeah.
So like I remember that one guy you were trying to hit and you were just hitting all around them. You were drawing an outline of his body on the wall with bullets.
Well, you know, I don't know if I spoke about this on the last time I was here too, and I feel like I keep talking over you, hon.
I got
I
nothing to
forgot
add.
she was here.
Like,
I'm chuckling at the right moments, you
Yeah.
guys. Come on.
You're right.
I'm participating.
like Driver 3.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I don't know about
man.
any of the new driver games, but the direct your own replay feature,
I loved it so much.
I loved it so much, Chris. I would go and I would play, free play missions until a crazy replay happened, and then I would direct it in the coolest way possible.
Yep.
And there is, prior to the Pineapple, this is fresh information.
Nice. Exclusive.
Prior to Pineapple Boy Films channel, there was a channel that I had with Eliza and Carlin, also of Pops,
Yep.
called 10 Till 1, because all we had to shoot was from 10 p.m. till 1 a.m.
No, that's when we hung out.
Yeah, that's when we hung out.
Yeah.
That's true. But
Yeah.
that's also when we did a lot of our shooting.
Well, yeah.
Not really, but yeah. So 10 till 1 is when we hung out. 10 till 1, the time for fun is 10 till 1.
Yep.
So on the 10 till 1, no spaces, TenTilone,
Or Tentilone,
Tentilone,
if you want.
Yeah.
channel on YouTube is a couple of early short films of us. We don't smoke anymore, so that's fine. But then there is one Driver 3 replay on it, which is my craziest mission, involving a grenade launcher, a forklift, and hijacking cars. And it's a little dark because of the transferring between my TV.
Image
I recorded
quality,
on
not
VHS.
like dark, like I killed a baby.
Yeah, no, image quality.
Yeah.
Like, I recorded the gameplay onto a VHS tape, and then, like, ported that into
Yeah.
the computer.
There was a lot of steps.
It was a lot of steps, so it's a little dimly lit, but that is a great Driver 3 replay. I highly recommend it.
I will also like that. There's going to be a lot of tweets coming out today, guys. So keep an eye on @NotFunPodcast.
Yeah,
Have you
and
seen anything off of the 10 till 1 page?
I don't think so.
oh my god,
Wednesdays with Zoe and Chloe.
No.
it's pretty good. It's
What was that
it's
other
like
one?
pre-aspect ratio, so it's in a little box in the
You put
in
like
the thing now. Yeah.
What was the other one where Ty was cuckoo?
Wood in the Whistle.
Wood in the Whistle.
The Wood in the Whistle is a precursor to a short we did called Twisted Thicket,
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
where I played the guru who kept punching Carlin in the face in the garden. But yeah, so like there's some fun stuff on there, and some like just random, like even after Pineapple Boy Films existed, there was a short time where there was little Lego characters, and you could design what they said and design what they wore and make little scenes out of it. There's like a 3-part story that I made on 10 till 1 using one of those too.
Nice.
Oh man, I can't believe we broke the 10 till 1 barrier tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm such a
Tentilone.
great interviewer. Just get it out of you.
Should we try like one round of 3-word pitch?
Yeah, let's do it.
Before the end of the night.
Let's try to make it a thing.
Okay,
So
here's-
let's do.
Here's how it works.
Wait, real quick. Before we actually launch into this,
Uh-huh.
I was wondering, this comes back to Nobody Eats My Jolly Ranchers.
Yeah.
I was wondering if we would touch upon tonight. We don't have to. This was a thought I had before. How I like come up with the weirdest like non-swears while playing video games. You've both been witness to like my really strange workarounds.
No, that's great. Yeah, and that's perfect. If you were to do like a Let's Play or something, that would be gold.
Yeah. Yeah, if you were to be one of the people playing video games on the internet.
And just
Because
commentating
I feel
on
like
it.
that's like part of my like game playing personality,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
as it were.
Yeah. So like what are
Chili
some
cheese dogs. Was
No,
a big
chili
one.
cheesecake.
Chili cheesecake. was
That's
a big
when we
one.
were playing basketball in the basement while we were shooting pops.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
Yeah, I can't even and like Tetris.
cheesecake.
Tetris has borne so many like
So many like quasi swears.
Yeah.
Right.
Eliza quasi swears.
And then-
I'm like Jane Lynch in oh shoot.
oh,
Little Race
Wreck-It
Car
Ralph.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
like
okay.
Jane Lynch in Wreck-It Ralph. I just saw a Tumblr gif of that.
Yeah. It's funny too because you'll say something that's not necessarily offensive that you think you know where you're going to go and then you take a hard right turn. Just like chili cheesecake.
Chili cheesecake.
Like if you would have said fries or dog or anything, it would not have been offensive, but you still changed what you were going to say.
Yeah.
And it's still not offensive,
No.
but it is unexpected.
Yeah. Just because that's how you're feeling.
Yeah.
That basket
I
or lack
frequently-
of basket made you feel like chili cheesecake.
I frequently surprise myself in those moments.
Yeah.
That's all.
She's a game swearer.
Yeah, kind of.
Kind
It's
of.
I guess
Yeah.
a game swear, like in quotes, because it's not a real swear.
Yeah.
It's just a
no,
game swear.
Absolutely.
So yeah, let's play at least one round of.
Okay, so
yes,
here's how
please
it's played.
Explique, s'il vous plaît.
Using a random word generator, Chris says 3 words that are randomly generated, and we have to make what game we would make out of those 3 words.
Okay, so it can be. It doesn't have to be a game that already exists.
No, it's not supposed to be.
Any game that
cool.
we make up from
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
Like we're at a video game studio and we're
It
trying
can
to
be a
pitch
puzzle
them
game,
a
it
game.
can be an adventure game, it can
Yeah.
be an action game, it can be a first-person shooter, it can be an arcade game, anything.
Yeah. All right.
It can be a mountain simulator.
Yeah. First word is capacity,
Okay.
Okay.
volume. Interesting, they're related.
All
Sure.
right.
And molecule.
Oh my god.
I know these
So
are
it's
all
a scientific Angry Birds so far.
okay.
So this is your game. It already exists. It's
Yeah.
your percentages.
Well,
Jump.
when you say capacity, I immediately had a thought of a school bus because it says capacity right on the front
Or
thing there.
an
Yeah.
elevator.
Okay.
Capacity 2,500
So it's
pounds.
about transporting people
Uh-huh.
or things, molecules, transporting
okay.
molecules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
How many molecules can you fit
Right.
in a object before the volume gets too loud?
I was thinking it's sort of a fragile object that you're putting all these molecules in, and how many can you? What's the capacity of it before it'll break? So let's say it's a glass jar, and you put a bunch of. You're like, okay, I'm going to guess ahead of time. It's like the guess how many jelly beans. But you're like, I think I can fit 73 molecules.
Okay,
in
so
this
this is
thing
like a
But
before
with
it
an
early
breaks.
education
element
game.
of surprise,
yeah.
like Katamari. So it
Right.
would be like, how many cows can I fit in this beaker?
Right. Exactly. That's exactly. I think we nailed it, guys.
How many cows can we fit in this beaker? Where are the molecules?
Usually the answer is less than one.
Wait, where are the molecules?
Well, you have to guess how much less than 1. Is it 0.1?
Okay.
Is it 0.1?
Is it
It's all
0.1
fractions.
Yeah.
This is a fractions or decimal game.
Is it 0.1 cow
Yeah.
in the beaker?
Or is it, grains
How many
of sand
how many
in
cowlicules?
a trash can?
Yep. That's it.
75,000.
Okay,
So it's an educational
the
game.
capacity of the volume
Yeah.
of a beaker?
I hate doing the math for volume.
Dumpster.
things.
We'll say dumpster.
We'll say dumpster.
But the molecule is a thing that
I mean, I like the idea of like objects like cows,
I do too.
something like that. But that's
like how many lawnmowers can you fit in this cow?
That's great.
exactly.
Like 4?
So it's like it's to test people's like spatial reasoning.
Right, and
Like
everything's
7?
made of molecules,
Like
so we're good to go.
object
Even
pertinence.
the game is made of molecules.
Yeah, no,
Exactly.
it's 2 disparate objects. I
Which
love
the
it.
game itself, the game case is made out of molecules. That's where that comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the name's right on there. It's just right in there in the title.
Okay.
How about the mascot is a mole? We'll try to use a pun somehow.
With
Okay.
a mustache?
Okay. It's
Yeah, well,
Marilyn
he's evil. We
Monroe's
know he's evil.
mole with a mustache.
Yep.
And he's got a safari hat on.
Yep. No. Okay, so he's got a mustache
And a safari
and a
hat.
safari hat,
Yeah.
but he's got the Marilyn Monroe dress and he's doing the wind blowing up his skirt.
To guess how many molecules
Yeah.
of wind.
All right.
No, and it's how many lawnmowers can
Lawnmower
you fit
cow.
in this mall?
Okay. Clearly, this is
0.0002135.
this is the way to go. It's
Right.
an educational game to start. All right, but I do like Molecule,
Molecule.
the game.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a scientist. How about that?
That's what the safari hat indicates.
That's okay. Guys, let's stop digging. We've struck it. Okay? We've struck oil.
Dun,
We got it.
dun, dun, dun.
You guys want to do another one?
Let's
or-
do one more.
Let's do one more.
Let's do one
okay.
more.
Maybe it'll get less
Yeah.
dark.
Confine. I don't see like precaution. Steady.
Good God.
So a
These are-
janitor,
Oh, okay.
Well, she's got it already.
something,
Is confined.
cuidado, the floor is wet.
He's just putting up signs where the floor's wet.
It's called The Floor is Wheat. And it's about a hallway.
to
Farming a
clean up
hallway.
The school after the vampires have massacred.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait.
I like where this is going. I like
whoa.
where this is going.
This is interesting.
Yeah.
So, like, it's a janitor who works at, like, a vampire academy. Kind of like...
Yeah, He's good, but
But the vampires
the
are not.
vampires have something on him, and he has to clean up their messes. So
Right, it's
that
the traditional blackmail
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
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 So we use all the mechanics of a blackmail game, which is like letter opening.
Right. So the first level is you opening a letter
Yeah.
saying that we will suck your children dry
Oh,
unless
God.
you clean up our school.
Without any context. That is horrifying.
Okay. What are the 3 words?
I don't remember.
Precaution,
confinement, and steady. We haven't really worked
Steady.
steady into it yet.
No, we really
Well,
haven't.
he's steady. He's a steady dude.
Well, he has to be the
okay,
start,
he has to be
but-
steady.
Here's the thing,
It's a balance game, too.
He's going steady with one of the vampire kids.
No.
Okay.
No. Let's stop that. Let's nip that in the bud.
Okay.
But you have a thing.
Okay, he has Parkinson's, and if you don't find medication, like medication's the collectibles. Guys, hear me out for a second.
Here's something.
So I'm not allowed in the room
Let
when we
him
pitch
talk.
this game, is what you're saying.
No. It's good. Let him finish. It's good. I like the idea. Okay, we've got a janitor. He's confined to a school.
Right.
Okay.
Maybe because he died there years ago. And he's,
No.
okay,
He's alive. He's
Okay.
alive. It's one of the things that's always in the back of his mind is that
But
they
the
could kill him.
confinement is good. So he's confined to the school because of a debt that he owes them.
Yeah, like what is this? An outside confinement? Is this him putting this on himself?
It is.
Is the world outside even crazier?
No,
than
they've got something on him. They are like maybe they have his family hostage. It's one of those things where like
Okay.
if you clean enough levels, you can free your family.
His daughter is
daughter.
alive, but she doesn't know that he's alive. They saved her life.
Maybe they're playing the same game with her, like and trying to make
Ooh,
her do
alternate
stuff
levels.
for him.
Alternate levels.
Ooh,
Right.
ooh, there's going to be a switch halfway through the game, and then
Yep.
you're going to be playing as her.
Yeah. Okay. So you got that.
And everything you thought you knew of this
Oh God, this isn't going to
vampire
be old boy,
school
is it?
No.
just flipped upside
They're
down.
not gonna have sex.
No, because they know each other. They're familiar that they're
Yeah.
No,
related.
I'm thinking that the daughter doesn't know that her father's still alive, and that's
No,
part
but
of his.
if she saw him, it would know that it was his father, and she would not have sex with
Okay,
him.
Yeah.
Is
very
the
good.
point.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We're just
No father sex.
Let's
Okay,
just-
you guys.
yeah.
Let's just make
Let's
that
get
not
that
a
out
thing.
of there right
We've
now.
got confinement. We haven't done precaution. Well, he's precautious.
Well, he's
Well-
a janitor. He has to put up caution signs.
Yeah, that's she says. She
everywhere.
puts like
Okay, so anytime
his primary goal is to make sure the vampires don't slip on wet water. So he's got to put up this little cuidado signs everywhere.
so like
You got to be steady whether you put it down.
well,
and,
the
like-
thing is, the vampires are learning to massacre humans in these classes, obviously.
Oh,
So
it's a
once-
vampire school, not a
It is.
school with vampires.
Yeah, no, it's a vampire
Okay.
school. Like to become a vampire.
It's not a Buffy the Vampire Slayer
no,
movie
not
situation.
Not at all. Not at all.
It's-
So
okay.
once class is in session, the hallways start filling up with blood. Because they're draining all the
Okay.
sanguinating.
And he's gotta-
They're exsanguinating all
Nice.
of the victims.
Uh-huh.
Like
$10.
the old high five.
Uh-huh.
And so then the janitor has to try and mop up the blood as it's happening.
Uh-huh.
And that's a double stick motion. You have to like mop with one hand and like put the signs down with the other, and like you can drop certain kind of no, I've got
No.
nothing.
I like
Okay,
the
wait, he
idea of
needs
him being in the
something- he
hallways
needs
though,
something to
dealing with the
fight.
blood or dealing with the blood in general while it's happening, like a real time situation.
Werewolves, ghouls. He needs something else to fight that the vampires can't do.
Well, I think he would be
Little
in
sun
I think
demons.
Ooh, sunbeams. Sunbeams. He could try while mopping up the blood. He could try to introduce sunlight into the hallways.
I'm liking the sun demon thing though.
Sun demon?
I think he's gonna.
Well,
Okay, he's gonna secretly gather enough blood to summon a demon. He's going to use the blood in the ritual to summon some sort of demon, and he has to get enough sun demons to then kill the vampires or something.
Okay.
why are our video games so dark?
No, because that's what.
This started off as like a janitor simulator tutorial, and you threw in the awesome idea of having a high school with vampires.
Yeah, so this is on you,
me.
Eliza.
And also sun demons. I just
I-
like the term sun demons. I think that's going to sell to the kids. Like, we can put that on a poster.
Yeah, on the back of the box.
On the back of the box,
if you
for
put
sure.
Sun Demons in there, it's totally going to get downloaded on Xbox Live.
Yeah, or like rated M for mature because there's like comic violence and
Nude
sun
sun
demons. Nudity.
Yeah.
Parentheses, sun demons.
Yeah, graphic
Yeah.
sun demons.
Yeah, the sunbeams are not wearing any clothes.
Yeah.
No, the sun doesn't shine everywhere. I don't know.
Get it where the sun don't shine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which in this case is nowhere because they're naked and they're made out of sun.
I still don't know where the precaution is happening.
I feel like it's got to be he's walking the steady line of pretending to do his job and not getting noticed
Sure.
by the
Okay, so
vampires or the
it's like that
faculty
thing where you're
or-
trying
he's
to be
still got-
unnoticed.
He's
Yeah.
still got his goal, which is separate from the vampires, which is what, like finding out where his daughter is.
Sure.
Like they're keeping her separate from him.
And there's a balance to it. Like you have to mop up enough blood for it to look like you're cleaning up all the blood, but collect enough blood to make sun demons on the side.
Uh-huh.
So you've got to like siphon off some into the thing. But then at the same time, you've got the vampire principal, or vampire dean, probably, who is like if it's a university.
Let's get the details nailed down on this, on the power structure of the high school.
Of the vampire school.
Like who does the janitor report to directly, and then who's his supervisor?
Right. Right. It's a fair question.
We'll circle around to that.
Okay. Okay.
I feel that this is devolving somewhat.
That's usually what happens. The more you talk about it, the crazier it gets.
I don't know how he wins.
Here's what I want to know is, what happens when we do the character switch over to the daughter halfway through the game? What has she been doing this whole time?
Okay, you know what though? That's weird. Is that she has been partially converted into a vampire already?
I was thinking that she had
So she's
something to
in
do
classes,
with the
man.
blood that's coming out.
She's in classes. She's learning the vampire ways. She hasn't been full converted yet, but she's learning the vampire ways. And then at the end, depending on how much sun demons you've collected and how much the daughter has learned, like you don't know this until the end. Like you don't know if you're trying to like actually become a vampire when you're playing the daughter, and sometimes you're doing well in classes or whatever, and you're trying to collect sun demons or whatever. But depending on how it goes, the father might have to sun demon the daughter, or the daughter might have to vampire
That's-
Wait, no.
the father.
Okay, first of all, I think we should start out as the daughter who's going through these classes, doesn't know it's vampires. She's just on her way to learning. And actually then we'll switch to the janitor afterwards. He has been trying to create sun demons to slowly work his way up the vampire hierarchy and kill off the, like, to
So
the top.
associate dean to principal to...
But
yeah.
he has to make it look like an accident, which is where the sun demons come in. Right?
Oh
And the
man, how
precaution?
do you make it look like an
Okay.
accident in the game?
So you're starting out as this fresh student at this fresh place. You don't know that your dad is still alive. You
Like
don't know that
Mist.
he's the janitor, and you
just thrown in
don't
this high
know
school.
that like you are on the wrong side of this game
Yeah.
starting out. So then you're gonna swap to the janitor, who's like slowly working his way up to like free his daughter from this vampire.
You know what? This
school.
could
Okay,
be
can
creepy
I-
as hell. Yeah.
I just something that I was thinking of before she said that was, I think if we did the switch the other way, where it's the daughter the second half, or it could probably work either way, but that the daughter thinks that the father is in trouble, so she decides to become a vampire, so she's powerful enough to save him, sort of thing. So she's making all these dark side decisions so she can save him. Meanwhile, all the things that he's doing with the sun demons to then kill the vampires at the end then is gonna end up killing her. So he has to make a decision at the end. Like, he has to either sacrifice himself or he has to kill her. And maybe by that point, she's made all these bad decisions to become powerful that she's actually a bad guy at the end.
You know what? That's an interesting way. Both of you guys have an interesting way. But think about this fresh game, okay? You have no idea what this game is about. You just know like there might be vampires involved or there might not be or whatever, and like you're just gonna play it fresh. It's one of those games where all the reviewers be like, the less you know about this, the better. 5 stars, you know? So like you start out, you're just in this classroom, and the teacher is asking these questions, and like they're normal questions at first, like, which do you like better? Do you feel better? It's kind of like Telltale. Do you feel better about red or do you feel better about blue?
Or at the
And you
beginning of
choose-
Fallout 3. You play the beginning of Fallout 3, right?
Yeah, where you're answering these weird questions,
Which
and
then
it determines
creates a
who you
character
are.
for you, yeah.
So like you're doing that, and then the questions get darker and darker, okay? And you're kind of deciding which way you are as the daughter, and then you get to the janitor, and you're just like you figure out, like, you're just in this hallway, and you figure out that you can move the mop with this thumbstick, and then blood starts leaking out from under one of the doors, and all you know is that you have a mop and a vial. And which do you do? Do you collect it or do you mop it up? And it's one of those things where like you're kind of progressing through there. You don't know what's happening.
You don't know. Yeah, it's not a clear-cut decision because you don't know what's coming by doing either decision.
Right. And the game is just called "Fuck You, Player."
We're smarter than you, player.
Yeah. But it's like one of those things where you could just build the story on
Is
two
it a
levels.
first-person situation
it is.
where you just see like
each time it's first person, but you see that the fingernails are painted on the daughter's one, so you know it's a female.
Right. There's
and
no like cutscenes or anything.
No, and this other one you see
happening?
the hairy knuckles, you see like a wedding ring, so you know like it's.
And he probably makes sounds too, right? He's like, ugh.
Yeah, and you can start answering questions too as you go on, but you don't know that they're related until later. And he's there to try and find his daughter, who's been kind of like amnesia brainwashed.
Uh-huh. She's one of the brides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where like you make choices as you go, so it's more story oriented than it is like action oriented.
The people that worked on BioShock, some of them that did DLC and stuff, moved off and made their own game company, and they came out with a game. I want to say it's called Going Home. I'm not sure if you heard of it. It's a PC only game.
No.
But basically is you go to your house, your family's house, like you're in college or something, and you go home and you get there and there's nobody there. And you have to figure out what happened to your family through like answering machine. It takes place, I think, in 90 something.
I love
so you
it.
listen to like answering machines, you find like your sister's diary to try to figure out what's been going on at home.
I'm on board.
You find like pictures, you like go through. So it's all, you don't encounter people the entire time. There's only one setting, which is the house, but it has this really deep, amazing story supposedly.
I'm into it.
So yeah, I think it should sort of like that gameplay. Maybe there's not that much action, or you don't actually have to deal one-on-one with a lot of situations, but you have to piece together this mystery by just moving around the world.
You know, I really like this game.
You guys,
Yeah.
we came up with 3 really solid.
This is going to be like a 4-hour podcast.
Apologies. Like
No, it's
you have
okay.
a lot to work with right now.
Yeah.
We should probably wrap it up.
Phil's going to get mad that you guys have replaced him permanently on the podcast.
Because you've got like 6 episodes worth right
Yeah.
now.
I don't need Phil
Chris
anymore.
is ushering us to the door as he speaks.
If there is anything you guys wanted to promote or talk about,
I would definitely check out If and Any at Blogspot. What is it?
WordPress.
Yeah.
at GeoCities.biz.
It's a live journal.
Yeah.
I think it's a Zynga.
It's a Zynga.
Zynga.
Yeah. You get clue into some of Eliza's craftiness and her witchcraft and
Fly
her
like a fox.
sacrifices
Sacrifices.
and her slyer education.
Slayer education?
No, slyer.
Ooh.
Like you're sly
Yeah.
and it's higher education.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I was doing, you guys.
No, I knew what you were doing.
No, we got it.
Other than that, check out Pop's Jake Jarvi at Twitter. I do a lot of retweets of great filmmakers.
Oh, I'm also on Twitter at ifandany.
It's cool. You don't follow us, we follow you. Whatever. That's fine.
And then
Thought we were
do
friends.
not.
Yes, I do.
at
You
Not Fun
absolutely do.
Podcast on Twitter as well. Because they do a lot of great screenshots of games they're playing, and you'll get to see all the awesome 10-1 footage that you never knew existed.
Yep. We have a ridiculous sign-off that's always different. That's something. Sometimes it's something that we said.
Chili cheesecake!